Three players have reached 25 home runs and 25 stolen bases faster in a season than Pete Crow Armstrong. Bonzo Soriano, Eric Davis, and Bobby Bonds. Already, Crow Armstrong, 25 and 27. You can make a good MVP case when you consider a full body of work, and you're going to get a chance to see it right here as he drops one into the right field corner. You see it, and you'll see it with a couple. He just drops a barrel on it, and easy double. That ball kicks around.
Platform podcast. Yeah. Keep excuses coming away then. Talking football, talking outside games. Get started. Let's get to that All-Star game goes on as we speak. Folks, training camp starting a week. The NFL news is starting to come fast and furious. We can't wait to see you guys back on the field in a week's time. Stay tuned to Giants.com, social media platform for all of our coverage. Make sure
Get the latest on the Giants and Jets on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM, V1, New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Good evening at 9 o'clock. I'm Jen Williams. Money ain't a thing for Gang Green. The Jets reportedly signing Sauce Gardner to a 4-year extension worth $120.4 million, with $85.6 of that guaranteed. The two-time All-Pro, now the league's highest-paid cornerback. The move comes a day after the team locked up another young homegrown talent, wide receiver Garrett Wilson, to a long-term deal. The new regime setting the tone, dishing out $250 million before training camp. The 2025 MLB All-Star Game underway in Atlanta. Both the Yankees and Mets have 4 players, each representing their respective clubs at the Midsummer Classic, with the Yankees slugger Aaron Judge getting the start for the American League at right. He's batting third in his 7th appearance. Judge grounded out in his first half bat, and shortstop Francisco Lindor getting his 5th career start for the National League and his first career start and his 5th nod. Lindor batting 8th, struck out swinging in his first at bat. The National League up 2-0 after 2. After the D-backs, Ketel Marte doubled right, scoring the Braves Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Dodgers Shohei Ohtani. The Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu, and the Fever's Caitlin Clark set to headline the WNBA's three-point contest in Indy. I'm Jennifer Williams.
Favorite team, the Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps. It's AM to AM on WFAN.
Yeah, let's get it, man. I'm back. I know it wasn't that long, but sometimes it feels long for me. I listen to the station, I'm like, I gotta get back on, yo. I gotta get back, bro. I got business to handle, but we're about to handle some business tonight. Dial 888-808-1019 one time. It's a little bit after 9 p.m. You got me for 4 hours, going to 1 a.m. Keith McPherson back on the Fan, another KM to AM. Coming off of what the Giants just did, or the Giants, spring training, or not spring training, the Giants preseason training camp show, I feel like we got to start with the Jets. I'm in here watching the All-Star game right now. We'll get to the All-Star game. We'll get to the red carpet. We'll get to Juan Soto. How could we not? We'll get to the home run derby and jazz and all that stuff. But let's start with the Jets. That's the biggest story in town. That's the biggest thing going on right now. I think if you're a Jets fan, you don't have to go as far as saying you're excited for the season. You don't have to jump to conclusions and say anything as far as what this regime is going to do in terms of winning. But you do have to feel a sense of security that 2 of your star players are locked up. The offensive and defensive rookie of the year, they're not going anywhere. So that Garrett Wilson jersey you bought, that's good through the rest of the 2020s. That Sauce Gardner jersey you bought, that's good till 2030. You don't have to put tape over the back and write another player in. This new Jets regime has come in and quietly went to work, went to business, and just quietly have locked up 2 guys that are stars And when you think about the first order of business, they moved on from Aaron Rodgers, who was the biggest star, and there was a lot of people that didn't like that. I think before you go into training camp, setting the stage by paying your guys and doing it early, they didn't have to do this right now, but it sets the stage saying, listen, these are our guys, these are pillars, these are cornerstones, these are building blocks of the franchise. We recognize that. Hopefully you recognize that, and the whole league will recognize that by how high we're going to pay these guys. Now, I know there's going to be some trepidation. Call me up. Tell me why you feel like this is too much to pay them, or they didn't earn this yet, or they don't deserve this yet, or what does this mean now? Who can they not pay? Whatever. That's how we talk all around these things. But as I see the Jets do this, the first thing I thought with Garrett Wilson was, wow, everybody that's ever stepped on the field with this guy respects this guy. That's all you hear. He gets open. He runs great routes. He beats coverage. And you know what? He's quarterback proof. It doesn't matter if it's Mike White, Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. And if you remember, when Aaron Rodgers came in, the thought was, hey, this is your number one receiver. Before Devontae Adams, before Alan Lazard, before anyone else. Randall Cobb was here. Garrett Wilson was the guy. Garrett Wilson is the truth. Garrett Wilson now is the number one receiver, highest paid receiver in a shaky wide receiver room where you can look to him to lead the way. He's going to get the most targets. He's going to get the most receptions, and you got to feel good for Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson is the first player from the Jets 2022 draft class to get extended, but he won't be the last. And that's what Adam Schefter said yesterday. And then today we get the news of Sauce Gardner's deal. And that's another guy that I heard listening to the station people, oh, I don't know about Sauce. Oh, they shouldn't pay Sauce. Sauce is overrated. Sauce can't tackle. Listen, lockdown corners, all-pro corners, they don't come around very often. You should know that, Jets fans. This isn't D. Milner. Like, Sauce Gardner is your guy. Sauce Gardner is a guy that you're not going to have to worry about so much, especially with this new regime. Your head coach, Aaron Glenn, is a cornerback, a former first-round draft pick of the Jets at cornerback. And the biggest thing that I know about these guys, Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn, they watch the film. They haven't been there yet for any games. They've had practices. I'm sure they've had some lifting sessions and a bunch of meetings. But they said in their intro press conference that they were going to pour through the film. They went back and watched last season. They probably went and watched some seasons before that. And they saw all that they needed to see to say, yeah, these are all pro guys. These are building block guys that we lock up. Aaron Glenn coming from Detroit, that was the first thing. If you watch Hard Knocks with the Detroit Lions, or if you watch Hard Knocks with the Jets, like Hard Knocks with the Detroit Lions, they were looking for a certain type of player, and they found a lot of all-pro players. They were looking for gritty type of players that compete. And if you watch Hard Knocks with the Jets, you saw iron sharpens iron. Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, they go against each other in practice to make each other better. They compete. They set the standard, and they set the tone. Don't judge Sauce over some missed tackles last year. Judge him off of what PFF grades him as, what the league says he is. The league respects him as one of the top 3-4 corners, and now he's paid like it. I was super happy for Sauce Gardner, especially if you've ever watched his YouTube channel or you know his story. Both of these guys' stories. Like, Sauce Gardner is a straight edge guy. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. He comes from Detroit, over there by 8 Mile, 7 Mile. And this kid made it. Undersized, underrated, went to Cincinnati, got to the league. And I expect to see a different Sauce Gardner. I expect to see a guy that'll put his hat on a guy. I expect to see a guy that's going to lower his shoulder. I expect to see a guy that's going to lay a hit on some guys. But even the greatest corner, Deion Sanders, they talked about him not wanting to tackle. He's going to cover. And I'm so interested to see how this defense plays Sauce Gardner if they're going to put him on the best receiver. Is he going to be following Tyreek Hill? Stephon Diggs is up there with the Patriots now. Is he going to lock on him, or is he just going to play one side of the field? Sauce is respected. And what I loved is that Sauce broke the news today. He put out a tweet. Many of you said Sauce needs to get off Twitter. Many of you said he does too much online. These young guys all do this online stuff. He said the deal is done. This is only the beginning. He shouted out his agent, and they got it done. He says he appreciates the Jets organization and yada, yada, yada. And it made me think, I'm like, where's Woody Johnson in all this? because we know about Crystal Palace and Woody Johnson buying a soccer team, and I'm sure he's in the dealings, but man, I just feel like he is letting Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn make the decisions around this team. And going into training camp, the vibes are up. 888-808-1019. The vibes are up because two of your best players, your homegrown players, right? They're good now. They just got generational wealth that is going to affect them, their families, and they don't have to worry about anything else. They can come in and play free. They don't have to worry about earning their next contract or hitting free agency. Like, there were rumors that Garrett Wilson wanted out. And Garrett Wilson, instead of, being a diva like most receivers are, as I already mentioned, Tyreek Hill, we saw him quit in the game last year against the Jets. Garrett Wilson didn't demand a trade. He was very professional. He was very measured, diplomatic with his question answering and talking about things, even though he knew it was subpar. He knew the coaching wasn't there. He knew the offense wasn't right. He knew Aaron Rodgers was just going for his own personal stats and playing a two-man game with Devontae Adams. And he ends up winning. He ends up coming out on the other end, still in a Jets uniform, going to be a part of turning the Jets around with this new regime, and he's the clear-cut number one receiver. The Jets and wide receiver Garrett Wilson reached an agreement on a 4-year, $130 million contract extension that includes $90 million guaranteed. And I had to go back because I was like, I remember the story. There was a story about Garrett Wilson, and I had to ask ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT everything. I'm like, what struggle did he have to overcome? Didn't he have some type of thing in his childhood? Well, at birth, he had lung complications that led doctors to believe that he might not survive his first night in the hospital. His father said, kids like this normally don't make it through the night. And they look at him as a miracle. They look at him as a special, like from that point on, as a special human being. And he is. Like I said, everybody that steps on the football field, they regard this guy as like best guy on the field, can't stop him, a ridiculous athlete. So to go from that to this, congratulations to Garrett Wilson. Congratulations to the Jets. Congratulations to Sauce Gardner. And you got to be thinking that there's more things to come. But again, like I said, we're going into training camp. The Chargers open training camp today. Did you see those jerseys? The Chargers have like banana all yellow jerseys, but the Chargers are in training camp because they're getting ready for the Hall of Fame game. We are getting ready for football. Are you ready for some football? Always, always. And I think that the timing was strategic here too. Two things. One, I was just talking to Ray, who's producing, and the guys who were doing the Giants show. I said, this regime is doing the opposite of what the Giants' new regime did. The Giants' new regime came in, took a look at everybody and said, we got to clean house. We don't want Dave Gettleman's guys. You can go. We'll trade you, release you. You can test free agency. We'll draft and develop our own guys. Worked for a year with those guys, and then what has happened since? Here comes this Jets regime where Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn come into New York and say, we're not going to do what they did across the stadium. We're going to assess who the best is in the room, watch the film, meet with these guys, explain our vision, and then lock them up. And then that just commands the respect of the team and everybody around them. And in New York, where we're obsessed with the Mets and the Yankees, as I already see baseball calls coming in about the trade deadline, we'll get there. Again, the All-Star game is on right now. The National League is up 2-0 in the bottom of the third. It's cool. They're micing up guys. Jacob Wilson is mic'd up now. Tarek Skubal was mic'd up. Clayton Kershaw was mic'd up. I think it's better to mic up the pitchers. Even it's still risky, but whatever. We will get to the baseball. But I think the first thing out of the gate, coming off of the football conversation with the Giants that you heard, we get some Jets fans on the fan to express how they feel, what they're thinking about, how this new regime is moving so far, what you think about these deals with your number one corner, your number one wide receiver. I think that this is a 2-day thing that Jets fans should celebrate and feel like, hey, we are building our team like successful teams in the NFL. The teams that win in the NFL, they don't win in free agency, bringing in an Aaron Rodgers type. They don't win signing the big names or trading for them. Really, they win with those guys being the cherry on the top. They win drafting, developing, and signing their own guys and letting those guys be the foundation of the organization. And now you're actually seeing the Jets look like an NFL organization. So we're right around the corner from actually seeing them practice. And that's supposed to get you hyped for practice, right? It used to be, oh, the last couple years, come out and see Aaron Rodgers in training camp. No, he's gone. They've turned that page. Now you're coming to see Garrett Wilson versus Sauce Gardner, and those guys lead the way with the rest of the Jets in between. 888-808-1019. You know the number to dial. We'll start with the Jets, but I see people already want to talk Knicks Summer League. Are you serious? You guys want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets versus the Knicks Summer League? I wasn't watching that, bro. I wasn't watching that. Tyler Kolek. Okay, go ahead and call me up. Tell me about Tyler Kolek. We'll get there. We'll get to the baseball. We'll get to Juan Soto and why he should be in the game. But like typical Major League Baseball, to drop the ball and not have one of their best players, the highest paid player in the game. But that shouldn't make you want to not watch the game. The game goes on without Juan Soto. The game went on a couple years ago without Aaron Judge, and he was hurt. Like, it's bigger than one guy, and we'll talk all through it. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call us up. We'll be right back.
Wow. And receivers can't catch a cold. We get it. And we got you. New York sports. No filter. 1019 FM and always live on the Odyssey iHeartRadio TuneIn apps.
Injured in an accident? You need help. The Rothenberg Law Firm. Lawyers that have built a legacy of victory over 5 decades, winning billions for their clients. The Rothenberg Law Firm. Call 1-800-624-8888 or visit injurylawyer.com.
Together, let's drive the Paramus Chevrolet for just $327 a month and $1,777 down. Lease the brand new Equinox 4G Wagon LT with 2-wheel drive for 36 months. Fine. Enjoy 0% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. Visit ParamusChevrolet.com today.
Hey, Connecticut, if you want name brand tires at the guaranteed lowest price and the most free services, then get to Town Fair Tire. Because nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. Nobody.
Sal Licata here, and wow, are we thrilled with the incredible job CertaPro Painters did on our house. So clean, so efficient, they actually listened to us. They answered all of our questions and made incredible suggestions. House looks better than it ever has, and we can't wait to show it off to all our friends this summer. Just wow. Even my wife, who's impossible to please, she loves it. If you need some exterior painting done for your home or business, call CertaPro Painters at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's Certa with a C, or go to CertaPro.com.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Bring on back to school with on-trend styles at Kohl's and Kohl's.com, where families come first. Hi, this is Maggie Gray. Join us as we cover the headlines, highlights, and storylines of women's athletics. Every day, Monday through Friday, myself or another trailblazing woman in the sports broadcasting business brings you the top stories of the day from the biggest stars in the world.
I was that young girl that dreamed of being on this stage and, being able to be a role model.
Yo. Let's get it, Chad. I already see Hector out here throwing money. Hold on. Let me bring the curtain down. Okay, 20 and 40 in this hour. Bet. And yeah, I usually try and do like open mic. It's whatever. I was gonna say, just I'll let you pick the beats off YouTube to rejoin. I'll send you my folder with the rejoin beats that I use. What's your Odyssey email?
Read.jump-sellers.
All right, bet.
I found some clips joints, so I'm trying to run that through.
Yeah, see if you could find maybe even just a clean edit. If they got the clean edit of it, we could go that, and I'll just talk over it once they start rapping. Back in the saddle, back on the mic, back in the power chair. As a matter of fact, let me get my lumbar support so I don't have the lower back issues. Ray is producing. I'm sending my beats. And we're going to get to it, folks. Ray.Jarvis. Here we go. Send. Okay. All right, chat. What's good? Club going up on a Tuesday. Hector came through with the 999. Appreciate it. Let's go, Keith. What's up, man? All-Star game is on. We miss you, man. I appreciate it. I miss y'all too. I miss the community in the chat and the callers and just like having the opportunity to talk through everything. And we will tonight. We're starting with the Jets, but there's plenty to do. What's up, Pam? Yeah, that's right. I was talking some football in the space. I had the itch. My guys from Seattle started a football space. I saw you were in there. Sauce got the bag indeed. Indeed. What's up? What's up? We'll get to it. I'm gonna star it. I'm gonna star this so we can get to it later. I did not like the Derby. I'm gonna talk about it. All right, let's switch the mic so we can get these calls in.
Could see it. I be Bentley driven and very strategic. Orange sleeves, diamonds are needed. Floors are heated, so be it, so be it.
So be it. Obviously, I'm listening to this album.
You so don't like your body, we help.
Good job, Ray. I was like, Ray, see if we can find any of those clips beats on YouTube because I've played that album probably 15 times since Friday night. I think that was the last time I was on Friday night, coming back from Yankee Stadium. The Yankees getting a big win. Cody Bellinger, 3 homers. Judge, a hat trick in the outfield. It was a good vibe. But, of course, the Yankees found a way to limp into the All-Star game. We'll get there. We'll get there. We're starting with the Jets, starting with some football. Obviously, we just had 2 hours of the, Giants camp show, getting ready for training camp because the rookies have reported they're going to have their little orientation, get their feet wet before things really get going. But yeah, I want to hear from some Jets fans. And even if you're not a Jets fan, weigh in on the Jets, right? All the JETS, just end the season, all of the LOL Jets, all of that. It can change. It can end with the right direction, with the right leadership. And I think what these guys are doing is right. I think it is the right move to lock up your number 1 receiver and your top corner who came in with him. DJ Reed, who was here and then departed and, went to free agency. He tweeted today. He said, proud ain't even the word. God knows how hard you worked to get here to this point. My dog lit for life. Like DJ Reed, former Jet corner that came here as a free agent a couple years ago, is happy and proud of Sauce Gardner and the money that he's got. And he does deserve it, man. I'm telling you guys, you want to harp on the negative, but I don't know if you really realize, like, corners like Sauce Gardner are not readily available. A lot of these guys get cooked. It's a passing league. It's a pass-first league. So to have a guy that you're not worried about getting baked out there, like you pay that guy, you keep that guy, and now you let Aaron Glenn and this regime work with these guys on building the foundation for the culture change that's happening, building the foundation for them to be winners. And that's the thing with the Jets. Like they're expected to compete this year. I was watching today. What was I watching? Was it Good Morning Football or something? And I just caught it as it switched, but somebody had up the Jets could be this year's Commanders. Now, that's a stretch, but I'm like, I wish I heard that segment. In my opinion, if you're thinking that the Jets could be this year's Commanders, that means Justin Fields has to play like Jaden Daniels, who's a rookie, and Justin Fields has been around. Let's get to the calls. 888-808-1019. Mario, Long Beach, back on the fan.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm really.
Oh, no, you're breaking up on us. Got a bad signal. Yeah, you're coming in a little choppy.
How about now?
Go for it. Let's see.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love what's going on though with the Jets, with those 2 guys. I looked it up. Do you know what they did in their
Do I know what they did in their what?
In their first year, what both of them did.
I mean, I remember faintly, and I mentioned them being the offensive and defensive rookie of the year.
It, man. You hit it right on. It was not.
Yeah, and that like never happens. And then the Texans followed up and did it with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson the next year. But like, you gotta keep those guys.
Hurt that.
I'm sorry, Mario. Call us back. 888-808-1019 as we are taking calls. I'm not about to talk about the Knicks yet. I will get to the summer league stuff. In my notes, I really just have Ben Simmons on the Knicks radar, which I think that would be hilarious for two reasons. Former Brooklyn Ned, and I mean, it's Ben Simmons, bro. But I bet Ben Simmons coming through for the New York Knicks as a bench player. Like, I bet Ben Simmons would be decent. I bet he just changes and does something and fits into the mold that they want him to. He was nothing for the Brooklyn Nets. He was street clothes. He was a model wearing different designer. Anyway, speaking of designer, Sauce Gardner stepped out. He didn't post himself in a helmet and shoulder pads. He posted himself in street clothes. And I'm happy for the guy, man. This guy's winning. He stepped out with Ice Spice not too long ago. Now you're about to have Ice Spice at the game. That's an upgrade over Sexy Red. You need Ice Spice at the game. We still need Ice Spice to throw out the first pitch in the Bronx. That's way overdue. But yeah, I just look at the Jets regime, especially with how they just did this, right? It's the All-Star break, right? Baseball games are not being played here in New York. And so they knew they had an opportunity to kind of throw this news out there and say, hey, talk about us. We don't want you talking about us too much. We've been quiet. We've been kind of lurking in the shadows, doing our thing since the draft. But hey, talk about us now, right? We're spending money now. Talk about us now. Our top picks that turned into top players in the league, they're staying. They're not going anywhere. We're not going to play the game where, we enter camp and Garrett Wilson is signed and Sauce Gardner's not. We're not going to play the game where, like, one of these guys gets on a podcast or a microphone. Like, look at Terry McLaurin right now. Terry McLaurin is frustrated, annoyed, and he's speaking on it. He wants his deal. He balled last year. He was a big reason why, as we speak of the Commanders and the Jets, and I don't know who it was. I got to go find it online, saying that the Jets could be this year's Commanders. Really, I think what they were saying is just a team to go from nothing to something, a team that had some talent, that with the right head coach, the right direction can, boom, be a playoff team. And then what happens in the playoffs, none of us know. But yeah, Terry McLaurin's upset right now. Terry McLaurin is voicing his frustration. And I think that's like a last ditch effort to try and get them to cave, to try and get them to fold and give him the money that he wants. He said he hasn't been thrilled with what's happening. Now, the Jets are going to avoid any of that. And I know they got ahead of this a couple years, but you pay Garrett Wilson. I felt like Garrett Wilson getting done. You can't do one without the other. You get Garrett Wilson's contract done. You get Sauce Gardner's contract done the next day. Great. I mean, Garrett Wilson is a guy, it's tough to put him up there with the top receivers that he's paid with because of the quarterback struggles. But I saw an NFL game day, they had 80-plus receptions and 1,000-yard receiving seasons in each of their first 3 NFL seasons. I think it's more impressive that he did it with Zach Wilson and Mike White and Aaron Rodgers. And at some point, he had Tim Boyle. You know what I'm saying? The other guys that he's in that company with, Jamar Chase, who just got the bag, but he's got Joe Burrow throwing to him. Justin Jefferson, who has now a combination of Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold, who was throwing to him. Michael Thomas, who had Drew Brees. Odell Beckham Jr., who had Eli Manning. Like, the most impressive guy out of that group of guys is Garrett Wilson, because it didn't matter who was throwing him the ball. That shows you this guy gets open. This guy is productive. Now, he reunites with his college quarterback in Justin Fields. He tries to rekindle the spark that they had, playing for the Buckeyes. And they both matured and their games have evolved. And you can only hope that their timing is there, their rhythm is there, the trust is there, and that Justin Fields is comfortable going to Garrett Wilson early and often. 888-808-1019. Gary in Waterbury, back on the fan.
McFear the Cavalier.
You're
Yeah. As far as the Jets go, you're only as good as your QB. Period. Stop. That's the way the league is built.
Yeah, you don't have any faith in Justin Fields. I know a lot of you are skeptical. I have faith in the kid, but go on. What are you thinking?
No, but you got Parsons on D, and he's a beast. But you know when Dak goes down, you're only as good as your QB.
Yeah, I don't even care about those guys. I'm not even thinking about that for real. They're not going to do anything. I mean, if they keep Dak healthy, we'll see. But yeah, we're talking about money and we're talking about paying guys. Micah Parsons should have been paid last year. Right? They waited too long for that. So they're going to have to pay him a fortune. They're already paying CD Lamb. They're already paying Dak. This is a perfect example. Thanks for that mention, because I'm a measly Dallas Cowboys fan. I picked Jerry Jones's club when I was a wee little lad. I'm stuck with him. If they win the Super Bowl, I will be happy. But if they do what they do and always get bounced, I'm just going to be like, same old, same old.
Well,
they draft guys, and they're just with this thing that they've hit on 10 Pro Bowlers in the first round. But they fumble the bag. They don't pay them right. They don't get out in front of it. They don't extend their guys. They wait until the very last minute because Jerry Jones could light $100 on fire every minute and it wouldn't change his day.
You still got us beat as the Giants, though.
What does that mean? I was just talking to Ray and the guys that did the Giants show. They're like, "Is Keith the Giants fan?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "What team?" I'm like, "I'm a Cowboys fan, but I don't rep them like that since that Packers loss. I haven't put a jersey on." But listen, would you rather win 2 Super Bowls in 5 years like the Giants did and then go through some down years as you figure it out, or be competitive, be good, and have first-round exits and now 30 years since you've made a conference championship?
No, I know.
It's close.
We're down. We're so down. I mean, we're the laughing stock. Jesus.
Still the last team to bring a parade through the city. Still can celebrate the good times.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you know what? And Foo Philly and Foo Soto. Soto, the highest paid player, can't make the All-Star team. You know what? Karma serves him right.
What karma? What karma?
Well, going across town.
Thanks for the call, Gary. 888-808-1019. I'm going to get to it. Sal Licata. Yo, Sal is the best. Sal is the absolute best. I wake up today. First, I listen to WFAN. Sal is boycotting the game. And shout out to MLB right now. They're doing a stand-up for cancer. I watch the game all the time. I'm in here wearing my 2014 All-Star Game jersey that I got out there in Minnesota for Derek Jeter's final All-Star Game. The All-Star Game is great for baseball, but they did miss a huge opportunity to have one of their most popular and polarizing and paid players in the game. You know it and I know it. Let's start there. There is no karma for going across town, but there definitely is a thought about last year where everybody wanted to see Soto and Judge out there in the field together, right? Soto in right field, Judge in center, but then also batting next to each other in the lineup. That was a thing last year. They had them mic'd up. Those two were gushing over each other. Oh, yeah, Soto's the best. Oh, no, Judge's the best hitter in the world. A little different in a Mets uni. A little different. I kind of understand the Met fan that's like, yo, this is what happens to the Mets. Last year, you only had Pete Alonso, who was a pawn. Pete Alonso was in the All-Star game last year so that he would compete in the Derby because they have to beg people to compete in the Derby. We'll get to that as well. Jazz stepped up and did it, and I liked everything he said afterwards, and I don't care that he hit 3 home runs, whatever. We'll get to Jazz doing it, and he literally on his live last night said he did it to help MLB. They were struggling to fill the field. But stay with me here, Mets fans. How can you boycott watching a game where David Peterson was just on the mound? How can you boycott the year after they do right by your pseudo-captain, Francisco Lindor? Lindor was the runner-up in the MVP, didn't make the All-Star game last year. He was a lock to make it this year. And Pete, who came out of the gate early, carrying Soto's ass, was a lock to make it this year. And Edwin Diaz, right now, you can't tell me Edwin Diaz isn't one of the top 2-3 relievers in the entire sport. So why would you not watch? You don't get how many years have Mets fans got to watch 4 Mets All-Stars recently be in the All-Star game. Soto's been in your uniform for a couple months. It's not all about Juan Soto. The glazing is amazing, I swear. Juan Soto is not liked by a lot of people. And he didn't get the vote of his peers, and I definitely smell some jealousy. Juan Soto also didn't get the fan player vote. The Yankee fans made sure he got voted in last year. I don't think the Mets fans were able to stuff the ballot. So, I mean, we could talk about the Juan Soto stuff all day, but I don't think Juan Soto being snubbed should make you feel like you don't want to watch the game to like support him. He's perfectly fine. Other guys were snubbed, right? Like Soto mentioning his 100K bonus that he's missing out on. I felt like that was just not well timed. We didn't need that. I felt like if it was a joke, it wasn't a well-placed joke. You know, with Jacob Mizorowski being in the game, the young rookie, who they set the precedent for last year, having Paul Skeens start the All-Star game after 11 starts, that opened the door for Jacob Mizorowski to have 5 starts, and it's like, oh, here comes the Miz. But yeah, as far as the bonus goes, Christopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez down there in Philly, those guys should be in the All-Star game. But I guess because they didn't outright make it by the time they get, double back with them, like that's how like Miz and David Peterson get in the game. By the time they double back with those guys were already planning their vacations. They were already taking the time off. They didn't care. But the Phillies ran Christopher Sanchez his $50,000 bonus in his contract for being an All-Star regardless. And it made me think, if Juan Soto's worried about that 100,000, I'm like, it should be more than 100,000. If Christopher Sanchez is getting half of that for being snubbed. But yeah, much was made this morning about Juan Soto. And I just think like we are too wrapped up in Juan Soto. The national audience is not. Baseball is so regional. And I do think they know that. Do you think that they had meetings in MLB and wherever, whether it was, the front offices, whatever, like the people that decide to make the decisions? I'm sure they're like, hey, Juan Soto is the highest paid player in the sport. He's the highest paid player in sports. He plays in New York. We got to have him in this game. But there were probably some other people that countered and were like, no, we don't. Everybody knows him. He didn't earn it. He didn't earn the player vote. He didn't earn the popular vote with the fans. Let's put some other people in there to grow the game. I know personally, when I worked at MLB Network, there was this term called East Coast bias, where because we were in Secaucus, New Jersey, because a lot of us were Yankee fans and a lot of people that work at MLB Network are Mets fans, they felt like the conversation always leaned towards the Yankees and the Mets. Where someone out in Milwaukee would be like, hey, how do you do a whole show on the league and you don't mention us, but once or twice a week? Like, people start to chirp online with that type of stuff. Juan Soto being put in the game after not earning the vote and not having he didn't get out of the blocks. He didn't get out of the starting blocks. Not having the start to the season that the highest paid player in baseball should have, a guy that finished 3rd in the AL MVP voting, a guy that was supposed to be all of this, and who cares? If you're a Mets fan, did you get Juan Soto in hopes that he would make the All-Star game every year for 15 years? Or did you sign Juan Soto in hopes that he can turn it on in October and help you win a World Series for the first time in 40 years? Jose is in Brooklyn as we go back to the Jets, and I see some Mets fans calling up now. What's up, Jose?
What's up, Keith? How are you doing today?
Good. Happy to be here.
Oh, man, I just wanted to definitely talk to New York Jets. I really liked what they did. They got their 2 pretty much, draft picks that they hit home runs on signed for the long term. It shows that they actually believe in Aaron Glenn's vision, because that was, huge with the new coach coming in, and the fact that they were able to go in, get the money done, and have this and kind of move on from, the hilarity of it, and the fact that they are looking more like a competent organization. We're going to see how this works out. And the fact that I'm a huge Garrett Wilson fan, and the fact that there were certain people that were trying to call for his head because they didn't like the fact that, Aaron Rodgers couldn't, deal with the fact that, hey, he has to work with young wide receivers, and he's shown a history of not doing so. it's actually good that we actually pick the right person and not try to, go through the hilarity and alienate him, and then he asks for a trade, and it ends up like every story of a young good product that's developed through the Jets. And I'm glad that we're changing that. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Jose. I'm right there with you, bro. Aaron Rodgers and those Jedi mind tricks had a lot of people fooled. I remember last year in camp, them going back and forth, Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. People are, what are they arguing about? People saying, oh, well, Garrett Wilson should bow down or respect Aaron Rodgers, whatever. Listen, Garrett Wilson is the best player on the field. Garrett Wilson has been open. I remember them beefing on the sidelines. Maybe it was the Jaguars game. And Garrett Wilson felt like, hey, I think it was something like he was like, yo, the read on that play is like, if the fade is open, you throw the fade. He beat his man. He was open. But what was Aaron Rodgers trying to do? Aaron Rodgers was trying to get the ball to Devontae Adams, trying to get his milestone touchdowns, and he wasn't looking for him. So, Garrett Wilson had gripes with, decision-making and how Aaron Rodgers was playing, and he was in the right. And I'm telling you, this is what I will say about these guys, man. They watched the film. Now, I didn't watch the all 22 coverage of the Jets, but I watched those games last year, and there were a lot of things that Aaron Rodgers put on film where I was like, I'd move on from this guy. Can't make throws, throwing his team under the bus, even in the post games. Oh, Mike Williams didn't do this, and tapping out of that Bills blowout. That's the type of stuff that you don't want in your organization as a new head coach, new GM. And Garrett Wilson put a lot of good stuff on film. And that's what I feel about him and Sauce Gardner. They watched these guys play. They watched their film. They evaluated their talent, and they said, yeah, we know what NFL all-pro talent looks like. We have it in these guys. Lock them up, and let's move forward. Let's give our fan base something to celebrate. Let's give this team something to rally around before we go into this 2025 NFL training camp. Keith McPherson on the Fan. KM to AM. You know the number to dial. We got to take this break here. Don't go anywhere because we're coming right back.
Paying off those streaming services and getting your meals from a vending machine? BT and Sal ain't charging. Hang with your boys for lunch.
Yo. Okay, switch the mics. Let's see here. My allergies flared up today, bro. Okay. I was trying to send my Instagram story out to get the Instagram audience to check in with us. I'm trying to talk to him, man. I'm trying to tell him, man. No one is worth that kind of money. Dennis is back. Hello, Dennis. There is no good all-star game in any sport, including baseball. I think not the game, but I think the festivities are good. I think the week and the things around it are good. Home run derby is awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Even with the new format, it's good. It's fun. So also good, but we Jets fan know he's not even in the top 5 in the NFL. No, he is though. He is though. Sure. So I said Sal's the best. Sal's the best at that, bro. Right. If you're a Mets fan, you shouldn't even care about the All-Star game. You should be worried about him performing to get you to October and to the World Series. We do get to celebrate that. That's another win for the Yankee fan for sure. Jets fans out here, Your sweet baby Jesus back in the chat. What up? What up? If you guys want to join the show and you want to speak to the people, dial up. Let me change my style. Let me change my style on them. Hold on. Hey, need like a little darker red. Yeah, like right there. Actually, it's kind of contrast. Let's contrast this. Let's go with like a navy blue. Yeah, there we go. My Instagram is not working, bro. Let me delete this, close out, go back. One man shop, bro. One man social media manager, content creator, radio host. I'm my own manager, I'm my own agent, I'm my own everything. Watch here, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Done. All right, hopefully that sends. I have so many things in my notes for being off. All right, here we go. Let's get back to it.
On Paramount Plus. Doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe. Shopping sprees in Soho. You had to see it. Stripper shaking up and watching the dough blow. Ace trumpets in rose mode. Yellow diamonds look like PP. Fly from DC on my private to Waikiki. 3P. On repeat.
Playing Clip's new album on WFAN. Only me. Good looks, Ray. Ray behind the glass, cooking up. That new Clips album is tough, man. I know you heard it by now if you're a hip hop head, as am I. I got to get back to the bars. I had 3 days off, and usually when I have off, I'm like, all right, I got to write a rap or something. I got to come up with a freestyle. I got to come up with something to spit. But I don't have the time for that. But what I do end up having time for is clipping everything I see and putting it in my notes. And then I get back to WFA and I sit here and I have like 8 pages of notes to scroll through. And I'm like, let's start here. Let's get to this. Let's do some of that. You know the number to dial. We got a full rack of calls. Let's get back to the conversation we were having. Harold is down in AC on the fan. What's up, Harold? Harold in Atlantic City, always turned on. Right now, his call is turned off. And I think I had another caller who was on hold, and I hit him first, and then I went to Harold, and I think I lost that caller. So the good fortune lands on Robbie and Lennox. Hello, Robbie. Robbie. All right, I'm not taking any calls. I could take it from here. I could take it from here. So far, I started off talking about the Jets, and I know there are a lot of Jets fans that also are Mets fans, and we kind of had to go into conversation about Juan Soto. And like I said, Sal is the best. When it comes to Juan Soto, when it comes to doing a solo show by himself, he manufactured a take today that it had a lot of people talking. It had a lot of people talking, especially because it's coming from Sal, who was calling out Juan Soto for not shuffling and not being Juan Soto and being ready to see Soto be Soto. And, well, Soto wasn't Soto in April and May when the numbers that people were going off of when they were comparing Fernando Tatis and others, I'm like, yo, look at who's in this game. Like, first off, Pete Crow Armstrong, that dude is swaggy. And like, if I wanted to come in and troll and make it a LOL Mets thing, I would laugh about how Juan Soto doesn't make the game, but yet the Mets put Javi Baez, or the Mets had Javi Baez and Pete Crow Armstrong once upon a time, and both of those guys put themselves in the All-Star game. You could use one of those guys right now versus a Tyrone Taylor or putting Jeff McNeil in center field, but you'll be all right. You'll be perfectly fine. Juan Soto's going to use this. This is going to be motivation. Juan Soto's going to use this to power you guys to the World Series. You know that, right? Trade deadlines come in, and moves got to be made. Something for the Met fan is Byron Buxton, the Georgia native down there in ATL. He was asked about getting traded. And I know there's a lot of Mets fans that were saying, Byron Buxton, that would be the guy. Byron Buxton would be the guy to trade for to play center field. And he said, no. He said, no, I'm not going anywhere. He said, I can't be traded. And he followed that up by saying, I got a no trade clause. I'm a Minnesota Twin for the rest of my life. And good for him. Good for him for wanting to stay out there in the Twin Cities and never win anything. But, I mean, he's going to be beloved out there forever. So what center fielders are the Mets trading for? What center fielders are you Mets fans looking at? Is it a center fielder? I don't think the Red Sox are trading the other guy you were looking at, Jarren Duran. Now, all of a sudden, the Red Sox, after trading Rafael Devers and us finding out about Rafael Devers standing up Will Clark out there in San Francisco, and the Red Sox ripping off 10 wins in a row. Yeah, now all of a sudden, the Red Sox feel like they're in it, and they're getting a lot of hype. Hopefully, they cool off. Yeah, another thing, Sal, to boycott the game. You know, you work for SNY. You work for Baseball Night in New York. SNY is out there. They were on Baseball Night in New York. There are 4 Mets represented. That's a strong showing. You can't boycott the game. We're going to talk about it tonight. I'm sure they're going to be talking about it tomorrow. You can't boycott the game. You got to watch. Pete, right now, I can't listen to Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is mic'd up right now at first base. And he's a shaky warrior, especially at first base. I don't know if you want him mic'd up. You might get somebody hurt. Who's on the mound right now? Hopefully they don't have to field their position. Tango with Pete at first base. Okay, Harold in Atlantic City may be back. How you doing?
Pete, can you hear me, bro?
Yes, sir.
My apologies for the last call. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the whole Sal boycott thing real quick. So here's the thing. I lost all respect for this guy, and I'm not going to put it on Sal because I know you guys have an etiquette about
Juan
this.
Soto? You lost all respect for Juan?
I would put it on Sal.
Okay.
But I would put it out to all Mets fans, not just Sal, because I know you guys don't like to bang on host. So when you say you're going to boycott Juan Soto, the game, because Juan Soto is not there, what about Peterson, Alonso? Like, you ain't rocking with your guys?
Right, the guys that have been there for longer and homegrown guys.
Yes.
These are 2 homegrown guys in Alonso and Peterson. This is Peterson's first and maybe only opportunity. Like, the biggest story is Lindor. Like I was saying, Lindor should have been there last year. I was saying he should have been the MVP.
This is his first appearance with the Mets as an All-Star. How are you going to say you're not watching that?
And you know what I said, Harold, about Juan Soto? I understand he's a money man. I understand he said it in jest about, it's a lot of money on the table. His response should have been, I was really looking forward to going to my first All-Star game representing the Mets.
100%. And that's how every one of those guys talk. That's what every one of those guys talk about. None of them talk about that.
That's what Pete does. I've literally lobbied for Pete, saying every time I've been to All-Star or watched anything, all he makes it about is representing the Mets there because he is Mr. Met at the All-Star game all of these years.
100%. Let me leave you with this. I listen to Midday every day. I don't know what Sal's going to talk about tomorrow, but I better not hear him say a word about David Peterson, Francisco Lindor, or Pete Alonso in this All-Star game.
Thanks for the call, Harold. I mean, he's going to talk about something. He's going to cook something up. And I don't know if he's watching or not, but like David Peterson was just in there. It's kind of tough for me to watch and see exactly what he did. Let's go to the box score. I mean, he had a clean inning. David Peterson goes in there. For the most part, he doesn't give up anything. He has a strikeout, 2 hits, does his part. He's out. Now, with the National League having the lead here and
these games are always low scoring and they come down to the wire. Edwin Diaz is probably going to get an opportunity to save this game, close this game. That's going to be big for the Mets and Mets fans. I haven't seen if Lindor has made any plays yet. I'm sure something has come his way. But, what if the Mets are a big part in the National League winning this game? And I know it's a meaningless game, yada, yada, yada. But to say that you're boycotting the game because Juan Soto has been in the Mets uniform for 4 months, I understand. I'm somebody that I always tell you guys, I was in the MLB fan cave, right? The whole thing about the fan cave was we need to reach a younger audience. We need to grow the game. And Major League Baseball back then, they had some type of embargo. They had some type of hold on their content. You couldn't clip their content and repurpose it. You couldn't even make a GIF. You could not take videos from Major League Baseball games and put them on Twitter, put them on Instagram. They were kind of hoarding their stuff, their video. They were flagging the content, and it was stupid because it's don't you want people to take the game and then put it on other places besides cable? No, we want you to buy MLB.TV. I swear, Major League Baseball has done so many things wrong. I mean, they made a mistake last night in the Derby. You got to have a swing off. You can't, but I know the agenda was to get the big dumper to be the champion because he's leading Major League Baseball in home runs. That was the storyline, right? He's got his dad with him and his little brother catching him. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper. He advanced by 0.1 of a foot. Come on, bro. Brent Rooker and Cal Raleigh should have had a swing off, but Brent Rooker probably beats him. And then you got to put Brent Rooker and the Sacramento A's on the forefront, and then you lose the guy that's leading away. Anyway, baseball has always messed things up. They messed up how they handled the Houston Astros. We can go through the game of shadows and all of the things that they have misplayed, mishandled. They misplayed the lockout. If you're paying attention, we're about to head into another one. It's a lock. It's a lock. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred says large-scale change is needed in baseball and that the MLBPA union leadership is not necessarily on board. Because of that, Manfred is meeting with individual players to make the league's case. We need to energize the workforce. If you've ever been to the All-Star game, everybody is there. And there are meetings that go on in these hotel rooms. There are dinners. There are parties. All these guys are together in the same city because baseball is on break and there's business being done. And if you're, keeping your ear to the street down there, it's sounding like after 2026, after next year, how could we not lock out? How do we not end up with a work stoppage? Bob Nightingale writes, Union Chief Tony Clark, this is what he says on the salary cap. Quote unquote, this is not about competitive balance. This is institutionalized collusion. So Tony Clark, I always see Tony Clark and Rob Manfred as adversaries. Obviously they work together, but they're like Superman versus Lex Luger. And we're not about to get into the Superman movie. I'm not going to go see it. I hear it. I heard it wasn't endorsed. Mike Francesa had a long rant about why you shouldn't go see it. But, that just came to my head as I see Tony Clark and Manfred going at it all the time. Or seems like they're going at it all the time. So baseball finds a way to mess things up. And they definitely messed it up with not having Juan Soto in that game. When you look at the best players in the game, Juan Soto should be there. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. For the Mets, for Mets fans, for other players that got in the game that didn't, for New York. Like I said, New York is an echo chamber and the rest of the country doesn't care about all the stuff that we talk about all the time. They got their little look into the rivalry, right? When Juan Soto folded in game 1 of the Subway Series and the Bleacher Creatures, we turned our backs to him and people chanted F Juan Soto and he did nothing in that series. That was it. I think the rest of the baseball world was like, okay, cool. We saw Juan Soto return to Yankee Stadium as a Met, but we're off that now. There are other players and other storylines. There are young players like PCA, like Jacob Wilson in this game, like, Junior Caminero, the youngest player to ever compete in the home run derby, who a lot of people bet on. And that's another thing. You got people betting on the home run derby. You got to give us the rules and you got to let us know that it could come down to how they're measuring home runs. And I hear a lot of people on Yankees Twitter, I think somebody even called the radio station to say, they have technology to measure
out there in Atlanta, a 471-foot homer, Brent Rookers versus Cal Raleigh's. But they couldn't determine whether that Aaron Judge homer in Tampa was a homer or not. They ruled it foul. They kept it foul. So Aaron Judge is -1 homer. He should have an extra homer. When we come back, we'll talk about our spring training home, Yankees fans. We'll talk about Tampa, George M. Steinbrenner Field, and the verdict. What's going on down there? Team being sold. And what they're planning on doing in October. Keith McPherson on the Fan. You know the number to dial. Let's go to it right now.
Wake up with Boomerang Geo. Morning 6 to 10.
All good. It's like a trigger.
Good evening at 10 p.m. I'm Jen Williams. Another day, another big deal for Gang Green. The Jets reportedly signing Sauce Gardner to a 4-year extension worth $120.4 million, 85.6 of that guaranteed. The two-time All-Pro, now the league's highest paid corner. The move comes a day after the team locked up another homegrown talent, wide receiver Garrett Wilson, to a long-term deal, securing 2 foundational and generational players through 2030. The new regime setting the tone, dishing out $250 million before training camp. The 2025 MLB All-Star Game underway in Atlanta. Both the Yankees and Mets have 4 players each representing their respective clubs at the Midsummer Classic. The National League is up 2-0 in the 6th after the D-backs Ketel Marte hitting a 2-run double to right, scoring the Braves Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Dodgers Shohei Ohtani. Liberty's Sabrina Ionescu and the Fever's Caitlin Clark set to headline the WNBA's 3-point contest this weekend in Indy. I'm Jennifer Williams.
There he is. As I was just saying a few minutes ago, what if the Mets have a big part in the National League winning this game? Paid Pete, MVP. He handled his business in April and May. You knew he was a lock to be in this game. Pete Alonso just hit a homer. A 3-run homer. The great Sweeney Murdy told me that 3-run homers win ball games. The National League's not about to lose this game. So the story is going to be about Lindor playing good defense. This is great. Sal. Yeah, Sal's going to have to talk about the Mets and the impact that they made in the National League, the Mets All-Stars. They're going to talk about Lindor having a good game, right? Playing a good shortstop. I mean, he went over 2 with a strikeout, but whatever. He doesn't have to do anything else at the plate. Pete doesn't have to do anything else at the plate. Pete Alonso is responsible for 3 runs. What if they win 5-2? Pete Alonso hits a 3-run homer right there, and it's almost a lock for Edwin Diaz to take the mound. It's almost a lock for Edwin Diaz to come out there and get his 3 outs. And if that's the storyline, LGM, right? If that's the storyline, look at Ken Rosenthal interviewing Pete. Pete is one of the best in the game. He's an ambassador of the game, and he's a specific ambassador for the Mets. I don't know how many times I've said that. If you've listened to me, I told you. I went to Pete's party, and Pete always is selling other players on Citi Field, the Mets fans. Oh, it's so great. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. You should come sign with the Mets. You should be you gonna turn your back on Pete? I swear, y'all don't. Yeah, you'll boycott the game because of Juan Soto, but you're not gonna watch Pete Alonso hit a 3-run bomb. That's your man. He's definitely opting out, but that's your guy. That's the face of the franchise. He always gets the short end of the stick when it comes to Juan Soto. 888-808-1019. David is in Melville on the Fan next.
Hey, Keith. I'm a big fan. Listen to you all the time. I think you have a great mind for baseball. I really enjoy listening to your show. So I just wanted to start off with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so look, I wanted to talk a little bit about Soto. I think, we're on the same page here that he deserves to be an all-star for the National League. I just, from your perspective, what happened here? What was the issue I mean, the fans didn't like him. I just don't get it. I mean, why do you think he didn't end up getting voted in?
He got votes, but he was on the outside looking in. Ronald Acuna Jr. was a lot because it's in Atlanta. Ronald Acuna didn't even start the season on time. So if you want to make a case for like, okay, Soto's slow start, Ronald Acuna didn't have any numbers, but he was a lot because he's got a ton of fans. It's in Atlanta. They were putting him in the game. Fernando Tatis, now, and you could make a case that like Kyle Stowers shouldn't be there, but somebody's got to represent the Miami Marlins. Soto, I think it's three things. He did not have the start that he should have as the highest paid player. He had a slow start. Nobody can deny it. He spoke on it. So he did not have the numbers. When you go vote, they put the players there and they put their batting average. They put their OPS. They put their homers, their RBI. Like, he did not have it until he really started cooking up in June. By then, we're past that point. The players, I'm telling you, the way that this guy carries himself, yeah, of course he has friends. And like last night, you got to see a lot of the Dominican players together. Fernando Tatis, Ellie De La Cruz, O'Neal Cruz, Junior Caminero, Vladdy. Like, they're a tight-knit group, but like they don't have all the votes. There are some players that I know definitely were like, I'm not voting this guy in. He's having a down year. Maybe he skips a year in a Mets uniform. And then, the fans couldn't do it and the players couldn't do it. And I feel like the league, who had the last say, they're like, no, we're good here. No, we're good. Everybody knows Juan Soto. We're not growing the game anymore by putting Juan Soto in it. I think that's a mistake. I think that's incorrect. But they're not doing him any favors. He's got enough money. They're probably like, yo, go enjoy the All-Star game from your suite in Citi Field, bro. We're good without you. The game goes on.
Yeah, no, bro, I completely agree. I think that's the completely right take, the completely right perspective. I think that's exactly what happened. I just have one more quick question and point, and I'll hang up and listen for your answer. I appreciate it. So my question really is, I'm one of those fans who likes both the Mets and the Yankees. Obviously, I'm a Mets fan, but I still root for the Yankees if they're not playing the Mets. My question is, what do you think they're going to do with the trade deadline? I mean, I think the Yankees are a team that could win this year. This is a team that could make the World Series this year. Are they willing to finally put all the chips in? Are they finally willing to put all the pieces on the table and say, we're willing to give up prospects if you give us Eugenio Suarez? We're willing to give us prospects if you give us a starting pitcher. Do you think Cashman and the Yankees are at that point to put all the chips in the middle of the table? And thank you, Keith. I appreciate it.
David, thanks for the compliment. Thanks for the call. No, I don't think the Yankees, I think they're going to bluff hard. And that's why I'm not getting my hopes up. Like, they're not about to trade Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones is like just starting to come into it, mashing now that he's with the Rail Riders. And part of that is probably his subconscious knowing like, oh, this is the last step. After this is the show. Let's go. Like, if I dominate on this level, I have to move up. That's with anything in life. You dominate the level you're at, you have to go up. There's a homer right there. Who's this, Corbin Carroll? Look like Corbin Carroll to make it 6-0 National League. Yeah. Speaking of Corbin Carroll, there's Baxter from the Diamondbacks. If you're a Yankee fan, are you giving up Spencer Jones to get Eugenio Suarez? No. I mean, I'm not. Are you giving up Spencer Jones to get Eugenio Suarez in a package with Zach Gallen? I don't know. I'm not, bro. I'm not. There's a part of me too, and I hate to say it. I don't think I don't think either team's winning the World Series. I've said that on the microphone. I've said that on this mic since the beginning. I don't think either one of these teams will win the World Series. They both got to the Final Four. If they both get back to there, that'll be accomplishment. It's hard to do. It is hard to do. But with the Yankees, I don't see them moving on from their top prospects. They're definitely George Lombard, hang up the phone. Spencer Jones right now, I think could be dangled out there, but I don't know if they punch it for rentals this year when everybody's going to tell you like, hey, the National League is much better than the American League. And, there's only a couple teams in the American League and, it's the Tigers, it's the Astros, maybe the Red Sox and maybe the Tampa Bay Rays. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Rays, before the break, I said we were going to talk about Tampa and what's going on there down in Tampa. And I've been kind of leading into this. I've been kind of teasing this and talking about this conversation that was being had over the last couple of weeks because, I go down to Tampa every year now. It's always fun. One, Tampa, they lost their ballpark, Tropicana Field, in the storm. And that gave them every reason to say, okay, now we move. Now we rebuild. And in the interim, what did they do? They got on Airbnb and they found George M. Steinbrenner Field, and the Tampa Bay Rays organization is living in our spring training home. That's cool and all for that 15 mil. It wasn't cool when Devin Williams blew that 4-run lead and the Yankees were supposed to sweep them down there and they didn't. And it also wasn't cool when you hear rumblings about the league and Tampa are having conversations on what to do in the event that they are hosting the American League Championship. They are hosting the World Series. I said the audacity of them. But why not? They beat the Yankees this year. They're a decent team with young stars and a good manager. They think it could be them. So they have to prepare. And in preparing for that, a couple things have materialized. One, they did get the okay to play their postseason games at the boss, George M. Steinbrenner Field. I tweeted today, I'm like, it must be destiny. It must be destiny for the Yankees to meet the Tampa Bay Rays in the postseason this year and then play a home-and-home series. The games are in, that'd be lit. One, George M. Steinbrenner Field, I think, holds over like just over 11,000 seats. So they got to add seats. They're gonna be so expensive. You know how expensive it is for Yankee Stadium that can hold 50,000 down there in October, where it's warm, where all of us go every year anyway and know the roads and the, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be crazy. So yeah, Mark Tompkin from the Tampa Bay Times wrote, breaking, MLB has decided that the Rays will have the opportunity to play all postseason games at Steinbrenner Field, including the World Series. So they're not going to play in Atlanta in Truist Park. And shout out to them right now. They're doing the Hank Aaron Memorial there. It looks amazing. If you're not watching this, I don't know why you would boycott this game. And shout out to Atlanta. I would be there. If I had a sponsor to send me, that's the only way I was going to potentially tell my wife, I got to go. But I had my responsibilities at home and my household and taking care of my child, and that's paramount, to be there for my son instead of go, interview players and go to parties and rub shoulders with influencers and other people in the industry. But yeah, they won't be playing in Atlanta. They won't be playing in Miami. They'll be playing at George M. Steinbrenner Field, where they're gonna have to add some bleachers on top of bleachers. They're gonna have to add some seating. But imagine the Yankees playing there. Imagine the Yankees playing there and losing. No way. And then the other news around the Tampa Bay Rays, they've been sold. So, there was some prospects out there, but the Tampa Bay Rays, Patrick Zulupski has agreed to purchase them from Stuart Sternberg for about $1.7 billion. And they expect that to be completed by September. And this Patrick Zulupski, he prefers to keep the team in the Tampa Bay area over St. Petersburg. So they're going to get a new ballpark. They're going to build a new ballpark. And they're going to move out of that area. I don't know if you've ever been in that area. It's not bad, but it's just like, it's away. You got to drive a ways from where like Raymond James Stadium is and the other stuff in Tampa to get there. So that's going to change. But yeah, the Yankees cannot lose a postseason series. That would taint spring training forever. And they just revamped the place. You guys went down there last year, right? Like they have a new hot tub, cold tub, dining area, weight room, meeting rooms. Like it's state of the art. It might actually be the best spring training facility in all of baseball. They lent it to the poverty Tampa Bay Rays for $15 million. But as many of y'all that like to call over 6-game losing streaks and talk about what would George do and what George is doing in his grave, imagine the Yankees losing a postseason series down there on the field that carries his name? Yikes. Philip is in New Jersey on the Fan. What's up, Phil?
Hey, how are you, Keith?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. First of all, I want to thank you for everything that you do. I feel like you're the only one on the Fan. I don't mean to criticize anybody else. I'm not going to, say any names, but I feel like you're really the only one on the Fan that actually speaks baseball, correct logic, not just chatting and tripping about different things, random things. you don't get off topic. You go straight to the juice and you say it as how it is. I want to thank you.
Well, yeah, appreciate it. I don't know. I can't really compare myself, but I do what I do. I don't worry about what everybody else is doing.
Yep. Okay. I like that. So I have a quick question. Basically, I have a friend who's a hardcore Met fan. I'm a Yankee fan, obviously. It's fun. We chat, we schmooze, you know. This guy keeps on telling me, and I have other friends too, Aaron Judge. I'm like, yo, he's the best player, almost the best righty hitter that ever was, you know, all that. He's like, you know what? It's going to hurt much more when it comes to the playoffs. However good he does, that's going to hurt even more when it comes to the playoffs.
What do you mean it's going to hurt? However good he does. If he does good, that's not going to hurt at all. We were waiting on Judge to be regular Judge in October.
What I mean is that history has shown that for some reason, maybe it's a psychological issue, Judge unfortunately has not, you know, capitalized nearly as he should be.
I understand. If he wins the Triple Crown this year and then he strikes out 3 times, you know, in the ALCS Game 5, it's going to hurt more because it's going to let us down. I remember going back and forth with people last year where I said, there is no strategy to overcome the struggles of the MVP. He's supposed to lead the way. So if Judge isn't right, we're not winning anything. I understand now.
Correct. So my question is why is he considered such a valuable player? I'm saying, do you think that he has maybe you know, something to look forward to in October? Do you think that we should, you know?
Why is he such a valuable player? He's arguably the best right-handed hitter we've ever seen. When you watch him, he's ridiculous. He can go yard. He can go yard twice. I'm mad. I went to the game Saturday and I left. And as soon as I get in the car, he homered. He hit his milestone 350th homer. He's the fastest to 350. The guy can hit for average. He's got the highest average in baseball, the highest OPS. That's another thing Sal was going on today. I didn't hear it, but I saw it. Talking about if Cal Raleigh hits 50 home runs and the Mariners win the division, it doesn't matter what Judge does. He's going to win the MVP over a Judge. Yeah, okay. Yeah. If Judge just stays at his pace, no matter what the Yankees do or what Cal Raleigh does, there's no way they'll vote for anybody else to be the MVP. Judge is on pace to have another one of the best right-handed hitting seasons of all time.
I understand, you know, MVP, Triple Crown, this is all, you know, storylines, hype. But I'm a Yankees fan. I'm not an Aaron Judge fan. I personally think that Aaron Judge will not help the Yankees win a World Series. I'm just sorry to say that.
Yeah, then that will be a tragedy for us. Thanks for the call, Philip. But I live in a world where all I need is one. I live in a world where I've been saying this on the fan all season. He failed at the highest level. Say it with me, folks. Some of you have heard me go through this before. He failed in the World Series. There's no Galaxy Series. There's no bigger stage to embarrass yourself on. Embarrass yourself. It helps you build character.
I just want to jump in and say that it's kind of sad to watch Aaron Judge dominate the way he's been dominating as a Yankee. The toughest position, I think, in New York sports is to be a great Yankee. I'm a Met fan saying that, mind you. We're not going to A-Rod this guy now because it's not like he's never performed in the postseason.
Exactly. Good bringing up A-Rod's name because it comes up all the time. All it took was one for A-Rod to get a ring with the Yankees. All it took was A-Rod to get right one time and help carry the Yankees to the World Series. He didn't win MVP. Matsui won the MVP. Shout out to Matsui, Godzilla. But yeah, I live in a world where Judge failed in the World Series last year. When he gets back to the World Series this year, I hope he's got a slow heartbeat. Also in January, his daughter was born. You just heard me talk about my son. I am a different person. My son is a different person. I look at my son now. I'm like, this isn't a baby anymore. I have a fully grown kid, like a little person that can talk to me and tell me things and like needs me and wants me to be there and all that stuff. It changes you. It changes how you see every human being. It changes how you view life. And what I hope is that the situation isn't so heavy for Aaron Judge. The weight of the world isn't on his shoulders. That after he does fail in a postseason game, he goes home, he hears his daughter cry, he changes a diaper, and he realizes like he's already won. You know, I hope that if this is the season that it is, it comes off the heels of him failing in the World Series, being mocked. I don't know how many times people post him dropping the pop-up or him, you know, it is what it is. That's in the past. All I need is one. And that goes back to the Yankees and Brian Cashman talking about we're going to go to town. What town you going to, Cash? Titletown? Because the Yankees aren't in the business of punting at the deadline with Aaron Judge in his prime, with Cody Bellinger in year one, with Max Fried as an all-star, with Carlos Rodon turning into an all-star, with Paul Goldschmidt here for a year, with Stanton another year older. They have to go for it. Me as a Yankees fan, I don't believe, because I've been hurt too many times. I've been going through this for a long time, for 16 years of my fandom life. You know what I'm saying? But why can't this year be different? And why can't Judge carry us if they pitch to him? And if they don't pitch to him, I think there's enough depth in that lineup this year where the rest of these guys will make him pay. Whether it's a Trent Grisham, if he's still here, or a Ben Rice, or the guys that I just named or mentioned. Hopefully Volpe shakes out of it. I pray Volpe is having a great all-star break. I hope he is disconnecting and not watching this and just getting right mentally, because we need that guy. We need a third baseman. We need a lot of things. But yeah, why can't Judge break that? All it takes is 1 year. All it takes is 1 October for him to have numbers like he has in the regular season. And he's not.
Good point too.
He's not done. He's not done.
You make a good point about pitching to him. I don't think fans understand when you're not being pitched to, especially in the postseason where every at bat is high leverage. It kind of throws your rhythm off. And a guy like Aaron Judge, he's a rhythm hitter. When he's going, it's about 3 to 4 weeks of dominance. When he's
seeing
cold,
pitches,
ice cold. But if you're not seeing pitches and then you start squeezing that bat tighter, the leverage situations get higher and higher. That all plays a role in why he's not hitting. Yankee fans are so caught up on him hitting that they don't even talk about him dropping the ball in the World Series. They're focusing primarily on.
We don't talk about that at all, because honestly, he had played an all-star center field. That was his first error. It just came at a terrible time, and they all unraveled behind that. But that's not something that that's Yankee haters. That is people trolling Yankee fans talking about him dropping that power. We don't think about that. We think about him striking out a bunch of times. People were ready to put him on the bench, not me, but some crazies were ready to put Aaron Judge on the bench in the DS against the Royals. I'm like, we're going to beat the Royals. Glaber, Soto, Stanton, they're enough to get us through the Royal series. But it's funny, as I talk about this team around him, as I talk about, feeling like the Yankees have enough, plan B, the pivot, what they did, feeling like they have enough around Judge where if they don't pitch to him, right? Because when they do pitch to him, what do we all say? Why are they pitching to him? Let's say they do walk him all postseason. I think they do have the lineup to make teams pay. And it was funny because I just saw a quote from Judge. There's a lot that comes out of the media day stuff. I just saw a quote from Judge. I'm looking at my notes. I have so many notes to comb through. But they asked Judge about playing in the World Baseball Classic. Cal Raleigh will be playing in that with him as well. And Judge had the audacity to bring up Alex Verdugo's name. And I was just talking about how GM Judge has to take some blame. It's not all on Cashman. Judge wanted Verdugo here. Judge didn't want DJ DFA'd. Judge wanted Rizzo here. And he just had a quote, as I'm trying to find it, where they asked him about playing in the World Baseball Classic. And the only player he could have mentioned anybody he's going to play with. He could have mentioned playing against Ohtani. He said, yeah, my good friend Alex Verdugo. Is that a homer? It is. Hold on one second. Let me finish this thought. My good friend Alex Verdugo is going to be playing for Team Mexico, and and I literally said, Judge, let it go. Verdugo was a bum. Verdugo was a bum. Why are you still talking about Verdugo? Why are you even bringing Verdugo's name into the conversation? Okay. Brent Rooker, homer. The National League is on the board with a 3-run homer. Right now, the lead is 6-3 in the top of the 7th. Or did I say that backwards? The National League 6, American League 3. They're down 3 runs. But I did just say a few minutes ago, what if Pete Alonso's 3-run homer is the difference in the game? Then you're going to have to talk Mets. You're going to have to talk about this game. Also, Brent Rooker, shout out to him, as we're speaking about Judge's baby, my own baby, and being a father. Man, Brent Rooker had to go on Twitter and talk to some dum-dums that were criticizing him for feeding his baby on the field. My thoughts, as they kept showing his wife and his 2 young daughters, were that one baby looks to be under 1 year old. Is bedtime. It's 9 o'clock. They need to get that baby to bed. That's just the father and me, the parent and me. I'm like, his wife's got to go to the hotel. They got to get that baby somewhere safe. And why would you have those kids on the field anyway? But I think it's crazy. Social media sucks. We just let anybody from anywhere say anything. This guy said, "Hey, Rooker, did you really need to feed your baby on camera? Sometimes people just want to see you play." And he responded. He said, "Yes, it was necessary to feed my 11-month-old child her nighttime bottle at 9 p.m. Thank you for asking." There are children. There are young adults. There are fully grown adults. And there are fully grown adults that have children that understand what that is like, and then people that don't. And I feel like until you understand what that's like, you'll look at something like that and you won't understand why this guy is feeding his daughter a 9 o'clock bottle right now. Yeah, it has to happen right now. What are you talking about? All right, back to the calls. 888-808-1019. Let's see if Robbie and Lennox is ready to go this time.
Hey, Keith, how are you? Sorry about that. A couple rough days. My brother passed away in Los Angeles.
Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, man. So forgiving my concentration. Yeah, I'm watching this game. I just heard you say they had a 3-run bomb, and all of a sudden I turned back on. It's 6-3. You never know. So anyway, you know what's funny? Well, I crack up about these All-Star games. The guy from Colorado. I mean, it's so funny. They don't have Juan Soto. But the one representative from the 27 and 72 Colorado Rockies is there. Like, who cares about this guy? That's why this representative from each team is stupid. It's supposed to be about the best players of the game, not representatives from each team. That's what's so dumb. Now, okay, I want you to play GM for a second. Do you think that Pittsburgh would give us the starting pitching and Charlie Hayes' son if we traded our young prospect and George, what's his face, and then also the young outfielder?
Yeah, I think we can do a deal with the Pirates, and it's not going to take George Lombard Jr. or Spencer Jones. I think they'd be interested in some lower level prospects.
Because we need a starting pitcher, and obviously a third baseman. I've been saying Jose Ramirez on this station for a week. I don't know why anybody that's not talking about Jose Ramirez and going, "I get him." But what?
They're not trading him. There's no way, and they're definitely not trading him to the Yankees after they lost to the Yankees in the American League Championship last year. And he likes being out there in Ohio. So yeah, I don't see that.
I mean, he's crazy. He likes being in Ohio. Yes, would you like to finish in fourth place every year, be an under 500 team, and do nothing absolutely in the playoffs? Come wear the Cleveland Indians uniform. You got to be crazy. If you don't give up your non-trade clause to come to the Yankees and sit in Cleveland, then you're like, I know you're standing next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I know it's a joke.
That's how some of these guys are, man. They're ball players. They don't want to come to New York. Some of them for your loss, and hopefully listening to WFAN takes your mind off of that a little bit. Some of these guys don't care. Like Brian Reynolds, his whole no trade clause list is postseason teams. He don't want to be a Met. He don't want to be a Yankee. Teams that are most likely going to be in the dance. And he's like, "No, I'm good out here in P-Town." Like, some of these guys make their millions and they're good. They don't want to come and deal with the media here, the crazy fans here. They rather just play the game that they love and kind of live just like, not in obscurity, but live in a place where like they can go to the grocery store without people filming them. They can go out to dinner and be a little bit regular and kind of blend in. As a Yankee, you can't do that in New York. As a Yankee, you can't do any of that. Anywho, I was speaking about Brent Rooker, who just hit the 3-run homer, and now it seems, is that run going to score? Bobby Witt Jr. drives in that run. So it's now 6-4. Pete Alonso's home run is not the difference in the game. It's 2 runs, though, and those runs belong to Pete Alonso. But here comes the American League. Started off by the home run that Brent Rooker hit. Now, when you go back to last night with the Derby, I was already talking about they got to have a swing off. But I felt like there was an agenda. I felt like they were trying to push Cal Raleigh the entire time. Brent Rooker spoke about it and the injustice that he dealt with. He said, maybe if they have it to the decimal point, they should display that during the Derby and not wait until everyone's done to bring out that information that might be helpful. Like, yeah, the fix was in. That was kind of sketchy to say, oh, well, yeah, you lost because of 0.1 of a foot and Cal Raleigh advances. Have the swing off. Have just for the dramatics. But there's a lot of people complaining that the Derby was too long. With the bonuses and all the other stuff that they're doing, they're saying, it's too long. They got to get to the action. Whatever. You can't please everybody. 888-808-1019. I'm looking at this. Cam, Jazz Chisholm gets on. And there's a little bit of a rally here in the 7th inning. So this is a good game right now. It was looking like a little bit of a slow game, 2-0. Then it looked like the National League was going to blow them out. Here comes the American League. So these last few innings are going to be tight. Look for Edwin Diaz to enter this game. Rodon has already been in for the Yankees. Peterson has already been in for the Mets. Their night is over. Jazz just got a knock. I don't think Judge has done anything yet. Yeah, Judge was 0 for 2, and now he's out of the game. So, I don't know. We'll see who the hero is as Dave Roberts goes to the bullpen right now to get this last out of the 7th inning. Let's take another couple calls here. Talking about baseball now. Talking about Judge. Kind of talking about the trade deadline. And talking all around the home run derby, the All-Star game, and trying to get your thoughts and reactions on who do you think the Yankees should trade for? Who do you think they're willing to give up? What did you think about the All-Star festivities? I still say this, even in my chat right now. Shout out to the live. Shout out to the live. In my chat, Chris said the home run contest was a total waste of time. And somebody else in the chat said that because I said that baseball's All-Star game is the best of all of the All-Star games. It's not just the game. The game is not the best. Sometimes these games suck, and they're not playing for anything now. What I meant to say, like, when I say All-Star game, I mean, like, the All-Star festivities that started with Dave Sims. Shout out to Dave Sims. We'll talk about Dave Sims later. Dave Sims was quoted and in a New York Post article talking about the time off that he took back when the Yankees faced Sacramento. But Dave Sims went down there for the HBCU Swingman Challenge, which is like one of the kickoffs to the All-Star festivities now, where young black players from historically black colleges face off against each other. Then you have the celebrity softball game. Then you have the Futures game where George Lombard impressed. Then you have the home run derby. Then you have the red carpet. And now finally you have the All-Star game and then the parties that'll go on tonight. And then everybody's flying out tonight and into tomorrow morning and enjoying the rest of their break. And I honestly think from my experience going to 4 of these that Major League Baseball does it the best. I think hockey is a close second. But the NBA, like, nobody cares. The NBA is so different than what it once was. It doesn't register anymore. And NFL, forget about it. Like, they play flag football. Anyway, back to the phones. It's 10:30. We've got another 10 minutes or so until I take the next break. Let's go to Val in the Bronx. Val, what you thinking?
Fierce, what's good, King? Long time no talk. How you doing, Don?
Hello? Yeah. Val, let me do something for you. Hold on for 1 second, Val. I'm sorry. I had us confused with the break times. I was thinking we're going to 10:40. We need to break now. So let's break in the middle of the hour. When we come back, we'll go to Val. Val always has a lot of insight, things to share, and I like to give him his time. This is Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call us up. We'll be right back.
Meetings, errands, screaming kids, all while scrolling box scores. We get it, and we got you. New York sports, no filter. The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always live on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Hey everyone, Boomer here. How long have I been talking about the Chef IQ Sense wireless thermometer? You know how much I love it, but check out what one of our listeners says. It's phenomenal. You want to make a brisket, you look at your phone, and your mouth starts watering when you've got 20 minutes left. Phenomenal. The Chef IQ Sense is the wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking your chicken, fish, or meat. Whether cooking on a stovetop, oven, or grill, the app alerts you when everything's done. Order the released 3rd generation Chef IQ Sense now. ChefIQ.com.
All right, yo. Working on a few things. Combing through my notes. Let me turn this down. Give me a second. Okay. What didn't we hit on chat? If you said something in the chat that you think I need to speak on or bring to the air, just send it again. I'll just go backwards from where we are. I did use Chris's, the home run contest was a total waste of time. That's why I didn't watch a minute of it. But I think a lot of people watched, or good enough showing for Major League Baseball as far as the people that watched.
But yeah, let me tap in with you guys. I agree. Baseball does the best All-Star. This one started slow, but it's getting interesting. Yeah, and like, if it like okay, even how they are celebrating Hank Aaron. What is going on right here? They just switched this guy's mic out for God Bless America. They had to switch this guy's mic. I think they do a good job. Thoughts on what Jazz said on live about like his swing and like the biggest thing I took from him talking on live was that he said he did it to help MLB out and that he's still getting money and he's still having fun. Yeah, I'll talk about Jazz when we come back. I'll give some thoughts on Jazz when we come back. Let's see. Jets fans not that excited to talk about the Jets. It's kind of crazy. I led with that, which is fine. We get it out of the way. But yeah, when we come back, I'll talk about Jazz. Okay, let me try and go back in the chat, and then when we come back, I will talk about Jazz. Jazz is him. I love everything Jazz had to say. Jazz talked about his grandma a lot. He talked about how his grandma kind of gave him his confidence. I like all that. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, let's run it.
Who came out of the gate early? Harry and
All right. Let's keep rocking, man. Just kind of getting back into the flow of things. Me and Ray getting back on the same page. Keith McPherson on the Fan, taking your calls at 888-808-1019. We're watching the All-Star game. We're talking about the All-Star game, the home run derby, the festivities, but then, of course, talking about the Mets and the Yankees and the trade deadline, which is like 2 weeks from now. You know the number to dial. We got people on hold. I started the call with Val in the Bronx, so let's go back to that. You got it, Val. Heard you.
To do something because the feeling on that, when Judge actually does get past this and blows out in the postseason, oh my God, the potential for what that will be is so much greater. Like, I'm sorry, I would put my chips in every single time and just say, you know what, never mind what the history is, give me another chip. And, you know, just one more thing before I get into my points. Yo, I hate to bring up, you know, other people's takes, but I'm tired of hearing it now. You know, the fact is, and you know me, I'm the biggest Soto fan that there is, whether he's on my squad or not. I love the show that he gave me last year, and I think the boy is a phenomenal talent.
But the fact is, he was not an all-star this year. Can we stop with this, all-star? Like, it's not all-star caliber. It's not like, somebody who could be. He was not, however it worked out, whether it was voted in or the players didn't do it, however you want to dissect that. Like, I'm hearing Lugar with this, yeah, but he's an all-star. And I don't know if Sal is on that wavelength too. If he is, I'm sorry. I love you, Sal, but he's not an all-star. That's a fact. He did not make the all-star team this season. You know what I'm saying? But
he's not an all-star, and I don't know. We got it. Sometimes, like I said, we got to let it go. Like the echo chamber here in New York, like they're not thinking about him in other parts of the country, like we are. There are other people that were snubbed. There were arms that were snubbed. There were other guys. Cody Bellinger. Some Yankee fans felt like his numbers were better than Javi Baez. He should have been in there. Like it happens every year, right? Mike Trout is one of the best players we've seen in this last decade. He didn't make it because he didn't have the numbers. But he's Mike Trout. Yeah, but he's not an all-star this year.
Personally, I think that, for a little bit of that might have been to the fact that he switched leagues, because that latent love affair that you would have gotten with the people who just voted his name, he wasn't in the National League last year. So all they had to go on was just what he was doing early in the season. And I'm sorry, early in the season, I was the one begging people to believe in him.
Yeah,
it wasn't enough. He wasn't doing what he had to do.
It wasn't enough, Val. He came up short.
But, so to get to what I really called about, man, and this is what I need to, like, again, this is one of those abstract, I don't know how to put my hands on it, but I hope to goodness for all the guys that, we were a couple of innings from the game being over, whichever guys didn't go, please enjoy your break. You know what I'm saying? And then that day before it's time to come back, I need you focused on the task at hand, because we need to come back and go gangbusters. As much as we have that, like, I feel kind of, I don't want to say satisfied, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still hopeful, considering all the things that we went through so far for the season. The fact that we're in this spot and we're still in striking distance, I need them to come back with a mindset of get that first series, and then we look at Toronto right there. We have a chance to get our division back. I don't know, like anybody, both all the dudes that's sitting down at home that's listening, enjoy your break. I'm not trying to press you, but just keep in mind when it's time to come back with a vengeance. We need to, like, gangbusters from the jump. You know what I'm saying? As always, son, your show, you killing it as usual, my man. Appreciate you all the time. Keep doing your do, bro.
You already.
Stay up, Doug.
My guy Val from the BX speaking that done language. Going back to what he said about Judge, man. Remember when Judge hit that grand slam against the Red Sox, I think in like September of last year leading into October? That had postseason energy. That rocked the stadium like a postseason homer. Okay. I was at Game 5 of the World Series. When Judge homered, like that place, I still talk about it. And it sucks that memory ends with how the fifth inning went and how the game ended. But I hadn't seen Yankee Stadium like that. Like I hadn't seen the reaction of the fans the way that it looked, and it was like jubilation, hugs, high fives, like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of that was tied to Judge, because you know what we felt like? Oh, Judge is unlocked. Oh, like, I think Judge had a double in that game too. We felt like, oh, the Yankees win this game and they go back to Cali for a Game 6 and Judge is on. It's on. We're back. Maybe we could do this. But the Yankees defense, it was not there. But what I'm saying is, Judge being Judge in Yankee Stadium in October, if they actually pitch to him, he'll rock that place. And it's a different thing. Stanton had a big home run later in that game, and it didn't have the same feel as Judge and Jazz going back-to-back. And Judge being the one to crack that first home run to put the Yankees up 2-0 in Game 5 of the World Series, which just gave us a feeling of like, we're not dead yet, and you've awakened a sleeping giant, and here comes Judge. We rely on him. It depends on him. He's the best player in the game. He's the best player on the team. He's the captain. They go as he goes. They follow his lead. If he's right, the rest of the team feels right. And you've seen it. When he slumps, the rest of the team slumps. Because he's otherworldly. He's a massive dude. Like, I don't know. You guys know the deal. I don't have to tell you. Anyway, speaking of Judge and Jazz going back-to-back in the World Series, and I never saw Yankee Stadium light up the way that it did, this new Yankee Stadium lighting up the way that it did, going back-to-back off Flaherty like that game 5 of the World Series. Yo, Jazz is not a home run hitter. He never was. He hits home runs, but he's not a power hitter that wins the home run derby. I had said last night, those little guys, and I said this before, I said, what's Jazz's frame? Was he like 5'10", maybe 185? They list him at? I'm like, those guys don't fare well in these type of contests. Let's see, his height, weight, they list him as 5'11", 183. So he's really 5'10", 175. And I've seen some of these home run derbies live. It's the guys that have the power in their legs and they don't have to be all upper body swinging. You saw guys last night start to lean. You saw guys last night start to change their swing. And what Jazz said was, I didn't change my swing. And people were somehow upset with him talking about, yeah, I have fun. And yeah, I'll do it again next year if I have 20 homers. Like basically saying, like, if I fit the mold of somebody that's supposed to be in there, yeah, I'll do it again. But I had no problem with Jazz for 3. Bang! He hit 3 homers in the Derby.
People were upset about him saying I had fun.
Yeah, because you're a Yankee.
Oh, God.
The object is to win everything. It's not fun to lose, Jazz. You embarrassed us. You made a mockery of Robinson Cano and
what about Jazz isn't fun?
Exactly.
In fact, they should be embracing him kind of in a lot of ways being
he's the fun guy.
Yeah, he's the anti-Yankee. The icy chain in the World Series last year. Courtside.
He's the modern day. He's like the 2025. All that Yankee stuff that y'all used to and talking
out the window.
I don't have to abide by that. Like, I'm going to dress different. I'm going to act different. The Yankees are going to come to my apartment and do a day in the life with me. I'm going to be rapping with my homeboy in the living room. I'm going to be showing y'all my Jordan collection. I'm going to show you my cat and the lady that cooks for me. Then I'm going to get into my nice car and drive to the stadium.
He's like the most everyday guy Yankee that's been around here in a while. Like, he could be in the streets of New York anywhere, just hanging out.
Yeah, I have no problem with Jazz. I'd love to meet Jazz. I had more of a problem with Jazz getting thrown out of that game in Cincinnati than I had with him losing. I don't care about the results of the Derby. That doesn't affect the Yankees. What would have affected the Yankees is if Jazz at 5'10", 170 went there swinging and uppercutting and swinging out of his shoes. That's another thing, too. I don't know if I got to this on the fan, but, like, you got to know the dimensions of the ballpark, and this is a lefty hitter. That wall in Truist Park is so high in right field. Like, Jazz is hitting line drives, is not clearing the wall. And then that brings me to the thought I had last night about how terrible I know they had it on ESPN and ESPN2. I think I watched it on ESPN2 in the living room. Then I went to the room, and that's when I got mad because I turned it on and it went to ESPN. And I'm like, I don't need a split screen in the home run derby. I don't need to see everybody's reaction. I don't need to see the kids run around. Show us the pitch, show us the swing, and show us the flight path of the ball. We could not see where the balls were landing. And I know they're putting the, like, yellow stripe or the blue stripe on it. It's just like, we've gotten so far with technology and launch angle and exit velocity and all this stuff. They think it's making it cooler. They think it's adding something to it. It's not. It's not. And I some people bet on Jazz. No way. Jazz wasn't winning. I knew Cal Raleigh was going to potentially win it, though. The big dumper. He's got the legs for it. He's got the power for it. I actually put out a tweet leading up to the Derby a couple days before because I'm obviously a Yankee fan and a Judge fan. And shout out to Judge with the pinstripe white suit honoring Yankee captain Don Mattingly and his Hitman suit that he wore. You know, I'm such a Judge fan, Yankee fan, and I'm completely biased. I think that they want to start this narrative. They already started this narrative. But I think they want to continue on talking about Kyle Raleigh as the MVP. And they wanted him to win the Derby this year as a way to be like, hey, you see Kyle Raleigh? He's on display for the world to see. Judge doesn't have to do one. I saw Judge out there smiling while Jazz was going. He's probably laughing. Like, I don't have to ever do this. And, like, I know what it takes to win it. But with Kyle Raleigh, the agenda was on. The initiative was on. And what I said on July 7th was I want Raleigh to do the Derby. I want him to hit from both sides like Rushman did in Seattle. I want him to go all out, win it, and then slow his pace down so Judge can catch him and pass him the rest of the way in 2025 because I want that Triple Crown. Judge should have had it in 2022. I want it this year. And for that to happen, Cal Raleigh's got to stop hitting homers. And don't let anybody tell you that if Cal Raleigh hits 50 homers and the Mariners win their division, which they probably aren't going to do, but Cal Raleigh's going to get those 50 homers. That is not going to give him the MVP over Aaron Judge, the captain of the New York Yankees, doing it for the New York Yankees, who already has 2 MVPs, should have 3, but they gave one to cheating Altuve. That MVP is Judge's. But, people get voter fatigue, as we talked about with Lamar Jackson going for 3 and Josh Allen winning it. Come on, yo. Like, okay, I give it to Josh Allen, but like at the same time, the numbers didn't lie. They did the side-by-side. I forget what NFL broadcast we were watching, and I was sure, there's no way they don't give it to Lamar. And then if you go back 2 years ago in the NBA, Jokic winning it twice or 3 years now, Jokic winning it and not winning a championship. They had voter fatigue with him where they gave it to Embiid, and then Embiid folds, and then Jokic comes out of nowhere, wins the championship and wins the finals MVP. Like, whatever, I don't need your trophies. I got my horses. I'm going back to Serbia. Anyway, 888-808-1019, talking about the Derby. No problem with Jazz. No problem with I think the Derby was still entertaining. It was long. Yeah, the camera shots could be better. I even think the voices that they have on it could be better. Shout out to Todd Frazier. But baseball's trying. And I think the game is alive and well. And this game is alive and well. 6-4, National League over American League, top of the 8th, no outs. Let's take a break here. More of your calls when we come back. I still have plenty of time. 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. KM to AM returns right after this.
BT and Sal argue like your group chat, but with better mics. The Fan 101.
Warning track power. All right. Damn, I wanted to post. Let me see something, bro. Fuck. Yo, I feel like I had to clean the camera. Isn't the camera clearer now? I feel like there was a little bit of a fog on the camera. All right. Yeah. Quickly. Before we get to the next break and update, your nighttime host, Keith McPherson on the Fan in New York, talking sports. What else? Try to keep it to that. I will try to keep it to that. Good game here, though, right now. Final out for Jacob Mizorowski, the Miz, in the 8th inning. It's 6-4, going bottom 8 here. Let's see if we can get a couple calls in and keep this thing rolling. Tom is in Bergen County on the Fan next. What's up, Tom?
Hey, Keith, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Awesome. I love listening to you and your commentary, especially with baseball and your experience with the jewel events of MLB. And you're right. Baseball does a great job. They also don't compete with anybody this time of year, right? Tomorrow will be the only day on the sports calendar where there's no sport. Think about it.
I'm like, there's probably WNBA games, but yeah.
True. Also, and my bad. I shouldn't have neglected them, but no NHL, no football, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not the major sports.
Right. And so baseball's got a lot down. My one point, though, is you didn't like the split screen, but I think the split screen is necessary because they put the dopey clock on the Derby. So you can't track one ball at a time. They make it rapid throw. Last year, when they cut back and forth, I was nauseous. You couldn't keep up with the camera work. At least the split screen, they kept one angle, so you could watch. Oh, there's the swing, there's trajectory. But the balls don't land, and the guy throws the next pitch. It's because the Derby is fundamentally wrong. It shouldn't be a timed contest. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, that was the first time they had a clock in baseball before the pitch clock, and I'm like, at first I thought it was okay, but I don't know. They keep changing things and fixing things, and I still thought it was entertaining. I thought it was a good Derby, but at the same time, I'm like, I just want to see the pitch, the swing, and the flight of the ball. But like you said, you got to keep an eye on the clock, right? Like that's the suspenseful part of it. Like, how many pitches do they have left, and how much time do they have on that clock?
And that's why these guys get rushed. You see them swing, sweat, Gatorade kids, swing. And that's kind of not the art of baseball, the power swing.
Not at all.
One at a time, right?
It's specifically for this challenge of hitting as many home runs as you can, or hitting more than the guy you're going up against before you. I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't love it either, though. I watched it last night, and I just was frustrated that we're not able to see where all the balls land.
It's like golf. Imagine following tee shots from a tee box rapidly. And those golf camera guys are the best in the business. You'll follow a ball, 300 yards. Those guys are good. But it takes a while for the ball to land. You can't have another guy swing another ball. it's a TV challenge, and you're right. It's supposed to be a competitive contest, but respectfully, thanks for listening, man.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining so much about it. I understand what it is. It was just a little thing, and I think I tweeted it out last night. Like, the split screen for me is not it. I feel like they can on one screen show the pitch and the swing, and then cut to the camera, flying. But why can't they do that and keep the clock on the screen while the ball is in the air? Whatever, it doesn't matter. And like I said, I think the commentary could have been better, but they're working on it. Next year is in Philly, and I cannot wait for it to be in Philly. And I didn't go this year to Atlanta, which is a cost-effective city and not too expensive to fly to. But I'm driving to Philly next year. I'm going to Philly regardless. So I'll look out for for the details and the things coming on with the Citizens Bank Park All-Star festivities next year. When we come back, I'll mention some more things that I thought that they did wrong, and we'll take your calls on it as well. 888-808-1019. Let's go to the break and the update right now.
Yankees and Mets all season long. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Good evening at 11 o'clock. I'm Jen Williams. The Midsummer Classic in full swing in Atlanta. We saw the first Met to go yard at the All-Star game in 19 years. National League up 6-4 in the eighth thanks to a 3-run shot by the polar bear, Pete Alonso. The eighth, Brett Rooker cracked a 3-run homer, putting the American League on the board in the seventh. So we got a game. We'll see if Aaron Boone, the 10th Yankee to manage an All-Star team, can make things interesting. Gang Green locking down their shutdown corner. The Jets reportedly signing Sauce Gardner to a 4-year extension worth $128 million, $85 million of that guaranteed. The two-time All-Pro, now the league's highest-paid corner. The move a day after the team locked up wide receiver Garrett Wilson to a long-term deal. Now they've secured two foundational players through 2030. The new regime setting the tone, doling out $250 million before training camp. The Liberty's Sabrina Ionescu and the Fever's Caitlin Clark set to battle it out in the WNBA's three-point contest this weekend in Indy. I'm Jennifer Williams.
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, the Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
A little bit after 11 p.m. on the Fan in New York. Now, there's a lot of talk about the All-Star game and who got snubbed and who's playing in it and who's not. And some guys opting out of it, right? Max Fried had the blister and he didn't take the ball. Well, look at this. Eugenio Suarez, third baseman from the Diamondbacks, who you hear in connection to the Yankees, I don't know, every week for the last 2 months. He just wore one off his hand. And you know who hit him? Because, they just got to have somebody from the Chicago White Sox in the game. Shane Smith comes into the game. I'm not going to knock Shane Smith. He comes into the game and he beans Eugenio Suarez, and it looks like that hit maybe his pinky finger on his glove hand. Hopefully it's not broken. I'll keep my ear to the street for news on that. Are you going to be trading for a third baseman who is going on the IL in 2 weeks? No, you're not. Let's talk trade deadline, as Eugenio Suarez is a guy that a lot of you think should be a Yankee, and not if he's feeling it after that. Let's see. And there's some people, I tweeted it out, and shout out to Mike. He goes, my heart just stopped. And shout out to Mike Dulce, who goes, change of plans for cash. Yeah, in a blink of an eye, in an all-star game, somebody you might be targeting, you might be talking to a other GM about, gets hurt, and it's like, whoa, what do we do now? Keep Brian Hayes, maybe Ryan McMahon. Brian is down in West Palm on the Fan. What's up, Brian? Brian. Okay, we'll put Brian on hold. Let's see if down in Manalapan, New Jersey, Anthony is ready to rock. What's up, Ant?
What's going on? Did something just happen to Eugenio Suarez?
Yeah, he just got hit by a pitch, and it looked like he was in a lot of pain. It looked like it looks like one of those that can break your pinky, like break your hand.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, it takes a little bit of the wind beneath my wings, but I was calling. I'm from the same neck of woods as you. I played football in Monmouth. My mom actually works at the Wegmans in Ocean Bayou over there.
Love that Wegmans, man. I'm in there whenever I come home to get a sub. I remember when they built that Wegmans, and yeah, you're from the home of the Braves, Manalapan Braves.
Yeah.
Go home.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. So I was just calling, I mean, Eugenio Suarez, obviously, big name at third base. I would love it. Hopefully he's okay. But, I really think if we're just, a couple moves away from being elite and big name, I dropped it last week. I called in, Jacob deGrom. If he can stay healthy and the Rangers are willing to let him go, he's got a couple years left. And, imagine that playoff rotation of Fried, deGrom, Rodon. I mean, who's beating that? And then next year, if Cole's healthy, who is beating Fried, deGrom, Rodon, Yeel? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good thought. Thanks for the call, Anthony. Shout out to the Jersey Shore Conference, Monmouth University, all that. It's not going to happen. Jacob deGrom does not want to be here. He's an all-star. He's down there with those guys. But when I say he doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to be in New York. I know Evan was pushing the narrative for a while about the Mets trading for Jacob deGrom. Hi, Evan. Hi, Evan. What time is it in? It's morning over there in Europe. Hey, Evan Roberts. Good morning. I'm sure you're listening, or maybe you're catching up on the free Odyssey app. Hurry back, Evan. We miss you. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Come on back, Evan. I actually haven't peeped any of the Rico Bronias from across the pond. I'm sure they're good. I'm sure they're great. I joke that as Rico Garcia comes over from the Mets to the Yankees, I'm going to start the Rico Garcia podcast. You guys heard about that, right? Like the Yankees picked up Rico Garcia. We'll see what happens. At the trade deadline, they should add some actual relievers where you shouldn't be worried about Rico Garcia and what he could do for the Yankees. But yeah, 31-year-old former Met. He pitched in 2 games for the Mets, and now he's with the A-team. Brian in West Palm, you ready? What's up, Brian?
How you doing? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, listen. I know you're a big Yankee fan like I am. I've been listening to the FAN the last couple of days. Yeah, had some good callers talking about. I have a trade for the Yankees, and how about we get Eflin from the Orioles and maybe pick up maybe 2 of their relievers. I think one of the guys is Rodriguez there. I think he's a lefty, the Orioles, and I think the Yankees should also go after McMahon with the Colorado Rockies. It shouldn't cost too much. I was wondering, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the Colorado Rockies are more likely to do business than the in-division rival Baltimore Orioles. I like the thought. I think Zach Eflin could be decent, but yeah, I don't know. I think I don't think the Baltimore Orioles they'd be trying to stick us up. They'd want a good prospect. They'd want a good return to help the Yankees continue to be dominant and win the division and go potentially back to the World Series.
Yeah, but I think he's a free agent after this year. So how much are they going to ask for Eflin if his contract's up after this year?
I don't know. And I never try to play GM because, especially our GM, I always feel like Cashman has the upper hand and he will not get finessed. And they ask big for Cashman, and Cashman doesn't do these deals with these guys. So as we float these ideas, or these writers float these ideas, it's like, this is not how it goes on when these guys talk to Cash. But maybe Zach Eflin for, a 20th overall ranked prospect. He's a rental. Maybe that gets done. But I don't know. I feel like the Baltimore Orioles are not trying to help Brian Cashman and the New York Yankees get another trip to the World Series or win one.
Let me ask you questions. You were over in Somerset. Did you get a chance to see Lombard?
Yeah.
What's his name? Lombard.
Shout out to the Somerset Patriots. They're amazing. Like, they literally brought me on the field to shake hands with Spencer Jones and George Lombard, and I got to chop it up with those guys. And what I was most impressed with, I'm like, they look like pro build guys. Like, they have the body type. They look like professional ball players. And I watched them warm up. I watched the game, and I'm like, these guys are two guys to me that I think are locks to be Yankees in the next 2 to 3 years. I think Spencer Jones could be ready next year. I think George Lombard by the end of next year into 2027, he's going to be here. I don't think they're trading either one of those guys. I think they may dangle Spencer Jones out there, but I was very impressed with both of them, not just their stature, but how they speak and how they played that night in the game.
Who's the catcher for them? I heard the Yankees have a good catcher at Somerset and also in Hudson Valley.
Yeah,
who's the catcher for Somerset?
It's funny because I was actually just talking about Rafael Flores might be trying to get him on the fan. Shout out to Frank Luna. If Frank Luna's listening, we might try and get him to call in. I mean, the Yankees have talent, and they just drafted a bunch of talent as well. Thanks for the call, Brian. 888-808-1019. That's another thing that happened while I was out for, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The draft goes on down there. How did I leave that out of the festivities? The draft used to take place in Secaucus at MLB Network. Major League Baseball smartened up to put the draft into the MLB All-Star weekend. They have the best, I'm not even arguing it. Like, they have the best. If you are a fan, if you are a media member, if you want to go, I call it the Baseball Festival. It is a festival of baseball. They have all the mascots out there. And so, the draft just happened, and it was funny, too. I was not on the computer. I was not on the apps because people are ridiculous. But, the Yankees draft shortstop Dax Kilby, and everybody wants to turn it into, see, they got no faith in Volpe. And I'm like, what? Have you guys never watched the draft? I've been to a couple of them. You don't remember they drafted Trey Sweeney a couple years ago? You always draft shortstops, especially out of high school. They're the best players. They're the most athletic players. It's got nothing to do with Volpe. This kid, Dax Kilby, could be traded away. He could never materialize. He could be 25 by the time he makes it. They're drafting the best available players. How did this turn into Volpe is a whipping boy? I swear, I turned that game off Sunday when they went down 4-0. And then I come back to my phone. Volpe's not playing hard enough. He's lackadaisical. Volpe's not locked in. He didn't throw the ball to second hard enough. He should have tried to make the play at first. They got to get this guy out of here. I'm like, oh my Lord. Of course, the Yankees find a way to limp into the All-Star break. I'm hoping that Volpe shakes it, man. I'm hoping that he shakes it. But anyway, I don't know. Eugenio Suarez, I did see that, John Heyman floated out Eugenio Suarez, Zach Gallen to the Yankees for Cam Schlittler, Cade Smith, and Brock Selvage. Now, Cam Schlittler, you guys just got a quick preview of, and I think it was part of the cosmic energy of the homestand that made that homestand great. This kid makes his debut. We find out that he grew up in Red Sox territory. His family, his friends, his cousins are all there. His dad's got to put on Yankee gear as a Red Sox fan, and this kid comes out throwing 100 on the gun and help the Yankees get a win against the Mariners, and Munoz just came off the mound. He just did his part. Let me look back at the box score here. End of 8. Still 6-4 National League. Kyle Stowers strikes out. And there are Met fans watching saying, I can't believe that guy got into the tournament or into the All-Star game over Juan Soto. Bruce is in Flushing on the Fan next. Hello, Bruce.
Hey, Steve, I have a whole bunch of stuff, so you tell me when my time runs out.
Go for it.
First of all, the kid the Yankees drafted, Buck Showalter said that was his favorite player in the draft.
Good.
That's number one. Number two, this whole argument about Riley and Judge, it started in MLB because the guys who do the 5 o'clock show, Harold and the rest, said that Cal Riley should be the MVP if he hits 50 and Seattle makes the playoffs. The MLB Central people in the morning, especially Tom Verducci, said, no, that's crazy. Judge has to be the MVP. So that's where this whole argument started.
Yeah, I saw Dan Plesac, and shout out to Dan Plesac. But like I said, it's just they can't all say the same thing. And I understand that. They're making television. They're making clips from television that go out on Twitter. If you just say Judge is the MVP, we know that. But if you actually do something on the contrary and you come up with all he's got to do is hit 50 home runs and win the division, it seems like it's in reach for Judge to not win the MVP. I don't think it's that simple.
Okay, Ohtani, it's bad enough they let him slide in the gambling stuff.
Especially with how they're coming down on Luis Ortiz and some others, I'm sure. But yep, go on.
So did you hear about this? What MLB has decided? That Ohtani doesn't count as a pitcher. So, you know the rule having 13 people for pitchers? Now the Dodgers have 14 because Ohtani doesn't count as a pitcher.
Oh, convenient. Oh, the Ohtani rules.
Is that ludicrous or what? Guy?
I don't know. They've changed everything for Ohtani to exist. And I guess it's great because he's this unicorn. But I'm just not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of the Dodgers. I'm not a fan of Ohtani.
Right, but how can you say he's not a pitcher? I mean, it's unbelievable.
He absolutely is a pitcher.
Yes.
He has pitched. I can go to his baseball reference and see the innings he's thrown.
I mean, he's liable to be a key pitcher in the playoffs in the World Series.
They want to double him, but then they want to cut him in half.
Yeah. Last point. I saw the trade rumor that Heyman floated. I'm really hesitant to make that trade giving up the pitcher. Now, if you told me to put the catcher in, the one you just spoke about a couple minutes ago, maybe I do it. I still would have a hesitation, but I can't give up that pitcher. I know it's only one time, but you should see he's got the talent and he's got the poise. So if you put the catcher in that deal, I would reluctantly make it. What about you?
Oh, no. I'm actually against giving up any more catchers because it seems like the Yankees keep letting these catchers go elsewhere.
I understand that.
You know, Augustin Ramirez with the Marlins, Narvaez with the Red Sox, Trevino getting back at us with the Reds, even Torrens being with the Mets. Like, it's like we got to hold on to some of these guys. We're literally having Ben Rice catch games. Like, JC Escar will be here today, gone tomorrow. Austin Wells needs some help. Austin Wells, I think, would really benefit from having a good, maybe I don't know, young right-handed catcher come up and be able to back him up. But
would you rather give up the pitcher?
No, we can't give up Cam Schlittler right now. Because,
I totally agree.
I know Luis Heel was just down there in Somerset and did his thing.
By the way, the kid that the Yankees got for Navarez was promoted to Double-A and has been doing very well. His ERA is 2-point-something. He struck out like 100 and something people over 89 innings. His ERA was 2-point-something. So we got a legitimate prospect for Navarez.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Red Sox are getting an immediate return as they are super hot right now. And you know how they turn, his production in those Yankee series into this is revenge. I'm like, this guy barely played any games for the Yankees, but whatever. He was in our system. Suarez seems to be fine. He just made a nice play at third, and he's laughing as he's got his glove on his hand. So I guess he was able to shake off that hit by pitch.
Would you rather, in not giving up the talent for Suarez and get somebody like Hayes from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I kind of. I like that he hits for power. I am kind of worried about the strikeouts.
He also he's had back issues in the past.
Yeah, and I'm like, we kind of need some other like Key Brian Hayes for me is the guy because they say he can't hit, he can hit, and I think he would be energized by living the almost prophecy of Charlie Hayes' son coming in and being with the Yankees and trying to get back to a World Series the way that his dad caught the final out of the '96 World Series. Like I think there's something to that where he'll play up and. It's hard to play for the Pirates, right? Like, they don't really have much to look forward to. And his glove, I'm not worried about his glove at all. I think he would be a good lower, if you're batting Key Brian Hayes 8th, yeah, run it. I'd rather them go get Key Brian Hayes. It's not going to cost as much. His contract, he'll be under contract, and it's a friendly contract. He'll be here longer than a year. Eugenio Suarez being a home run hitter would certainly, add to this lineup and make this lineup deadly. But I think they have enough power hitters. They have enough home run hitters in the lineup.
And last point, I saw today's post that the Yankees and Mets are both going after David Robertson. I'm sorry. He was a great Yankee. He's 40 years old. You really trust David Robertson in the playoffs and World Series?
Not really. What I had said about David Robertson is if they want to bring him back and he can give us some innings on the road to the postseason, sure. But I think that ship has sailed. I think it's done. If the Mets want him, the Mets had him just a couple years ago, whatever, go there. But the prospect of signing David Robertson does not fire me up. It is not 2014.
It's 6-5 now, so we're getting closer. Finally, we need relievers. It's obvious we need one, if not two. Who would you give up for relievers? Because we need to get relievers and good relievers.
Some other arms, some lower level arms. I don't know. Ben Hess, and Ben Hess is actually one of the top prospects. Lower than that, Cashman's going to send guys away like a Greg Weissert got sent away for Verdugo. Like there's going to be some randoms. I don't know. Can we trade Loizaga somewhere? Like let's see what Cashman can do. Because you can't sell me on a David Robertson or Mark Leiter Jr. coming back. Oh, here comes Edwin Diaz into the game. I knew it. But
He's facing Jazz.
Oh, perfect timing. There you go.
Take care. Take care, Keith.
Thanks for the call, Bruce. 888-808-1019. So it comes down to this.
I don't know what they were waiting for with Diaz in the first place. That he should have been out there from the get.
Yeah, there's already one out. Bobby Witt Jr. doubles. So you have one out. Runner on second. It's 6-5, National League. Obviously, they're playing in Truist Park, home of the Braves. So they're the home team. Edwin Diaz comes into the game here and gets these two outs. That's night-night. Everybody get home safe. Go back to where you came from. 888-808-1019 as we talk through the Yankees trade deadline, as we wait on the All-Star game to end and get some reactions from that. Keith McPherson on the fan. Hadn't been on for a couple days. Got way too many notes. I was just talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates and Key Brian Hayes and playing out there. Pat McAfee. This is something that I thought as I was watching Pat McAfee have his show live from Atlanta and do the intro for the All-Star game and, interview Judge and do all this conversation around baseball. I'm like, oh, baseball and ESPN, the worldwide leader and MLB, they're playing nice. Because wasn't it supposed to be the last year of Sunday Night Baseball? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're playing nice right now. I think they had some meetings for sure. And Pat McAfee had this whole thing about the system that they're running in Pittsburgh and how they need to change some things. And Pat McAfee talked about how his dad didn't let him be a Pittsburgh Pirates fan because of how trash they were, where they didn't even waste their time. And, Pat McAfee's a West Virginia kid. I forget where he grew up, but he probably would have been a Pirates fan. There's just no hope out there. Brian Reynolds wants to stay out there. Andrew McCutchen, obviously, is ending his career there. But, they got a bunch of guys that are waiting to be moved and sent off. They're not going to trade Paul Skeens. Here comes Edwin Diaz versus Jazz Chisholm right here. Here's the game, folks. Come on, Jazz. Get to him. Rock one. Come on, Jazz. Let me take another call here as we wait to see Edwin Diaz. Ooh, 99 miles an hour. Bayou, 0-2. He's about to strike Jazz out easy. Jazz is still cooked from the home run derby last night. Phil's in Sheepshead Bay. What's up, Phil? You're on the fan.
Hi. I want to speak to you about the Yankees hole at third. I agree with you about Brian Hayes. They don't need another power hitter. There's enough there, especially coming to the playoffs. You have Giancarlo Stanton, who always does well then. And I would agree about Brian Hayes. He's stuck he's stuck in mud in Pittsburgh. I think if he gets out of there, it's a new outlook, and he could field. I'm not worried about that. And I know he could spray the ball around the field. That's what they need. Someone is going to put the ball in play. I'll leave you with that, and have a good evening. Bye.
Thanks for the call, Phil. Yeah, he's definitely better than Peraza. Key Brian Hayes, I think, comes here for the Yankees, and you add a hitter to this lineup, I mean, his stats aren't great. He's not going to hit for power at all. Right now, he's got, let me go to his baseball reference. Yeah, it isn't great. I don't even want to build him up because I don't know what he's going to be. He'll be a good glove, but like you have Peraza to be a good glove. So what are you giving up for Key Brian Hayes? I do think he'll get a little bit of a bump. So let's play the game right now. His 2025 regular season stats. He's got 78 hits, 328 at bats, 2 homers, 31 ribbies, 10 stolen bases. I like that component of it, right? Get on, steal some bases. He's got a 238 average with a 577 OPS. So you're not giving up anything to get Key Brian Hayes. But I think he could bump that up. Maybe he has more like a 677, 700 OPS if he can get that average up from 238 to over 260, hitting low in this lineup where he's going to see some pitches after they get through Judge and Stanton and Belly and Goldschmidt. Eugenio Suarez is showing off. He's got a little showcase going on right here late in this game after he got hit by a pitch. He's making plays. I mean, this is something about the All-Star game, too, and we got a break here. 888-808-1019. You're seeing the best of the best. All of these guys can field their position. Maybe that's why Juan Soto didn't get in. I'm just playing. But all of these guys can field their position. Like when they showed Kershaw is on the mic'd up. He's like, I'm going to throw a heater here. And he throws a fastball over that gets rocked to left field. Guess who's there? Kyle Tucker with a sliding catch. That's going to tie the game. That's going to tie the game. Wow. We got a break here. But for anybody who says, I'm not watching the All-Star game. Yeah, okay. Okay, don't. Go to bed. Watch Love Island. This has been a good game. A great game now. Because here we are tied in the, like, Eugenio Suarez couldn't make that play. Steven hit the Quan with the burners. All he had to do was exactly that. So Jazz was able to ground out and move Bobby Witt Jr. over from second after he doubled to third. Steven Kwan is able to get a little infield single there off of Edwin Diaz to tie the game. 6-6, Steven Kwan steals a base. He's at second. They're saying, hold on, folks. We're trying to take the lead here. We're not trying to play extras tonight. People got flights to catch. All right, let's take this break here. When we come back, we'll catch up on what happens down in Atlanta. Tie game 6-6, AL versus NL. Keith McPherson on the fan. I'll be right back.
You're juggling work, life, and receivers who can't catch a cold.
Sick. Check in my deep folder. Use any of those. We can switch it up. Yo, chat, what up? Try and retweet. Get us to 1,000. We got a good game here, folks. I got to get my charger for this. Chapman. I'm working. When you see me looking down like this, I'm looking at articles. I'm looking at the box score. I'm looking at Twitter. All right, now I'm looking at y'all, chat. What's good, yo? Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for rocking. What a great All-Star game. Imagine boycotting the All-Star game. What happens if the game goes to extras? No NL pitcher? It'll be a tie because this game don't count for nothing, right? This is gonna be a draw. Nah, it can't be no draws. Shout out to Sam for the 199 throwing money in here. Oh, Serena out here. You already know Serena. Repping that 2014. That 2014. All right, let's get back to the show.
Oh, yes. You're now rocking with the best. Maybe you knew that. Maybe you don't know that. Keith McPherson on the fan, KM to AM. So the way that just went down before the break, you know, they have the ABS automatic balls and strikes challenge system in this game. What a dramatic time to use it. Randy Arozarena challenges a ball strike call. They go to review. They look at it. Randy Arozarena would lose that challenge, and it was overturned. It was a strike. It clipped just a little bit. That Edwin Diaz pitch clipped just a little bit of the strike zone. Called strike, overturned. The third pitch of the at-bat struck him out on 3 pitches, a 99.1 mile an hour four-seam fastball. And here we are in the bottom of the ninth with another challenge. I guess, you save these challenges. Call overturned. That goes for a strike. Aroldis Chapman on the mound, pitching for the American League, representing the Boston Red Sox. He just got Kyle Schwarber to line out, Fernando Tatis to strike out, and now he is looking to mow down Brendan Donovan. This is a good game. If you like baseball and you like these players and you like come on, bro. We'll be talking about boycotting the baseball game because Juan Soto's not in it. Please. Juan Soto, the game is bigger than Juan Soto. The show goes on. No man is bigger than the game. This is great theatrics, especially with the challenge system. Anyway, we've been talking about a bunch of things. Opened up with the Jets, opened up with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. I think I might have taken 2 Jets calls. I take it Jets fans are cool with it, but I mean, they're hurt. They're so jaded by the Jets, Jets. It doesn't mean anything until they win games. Cool. You hit on the draft with those guys. We like those guys. You paid them. Okay, good. You're keeping our good players. So I felt like coming off the Giants show, speaking on the Jets for the first time since I wasn't on yesterday when we got the Garrett Wilson news and then Sauce Gardner's news followed it. I was like, all right, I should attempt to talk some football with training camp opening for the San Diego, now Los Angeles Superchargers, and them debuting their all yellow uniforms. I can't wait for football to start, man. I just feel like we need it. I could talk football all day. I can't wait for inside training camp to start. I can't wait to see what these 2 New York teams look like. I've been doing this job so long, I don't even care about the team that I chose as a child. I'm more tapped in on the Jets and the Giants, as it should be. 888-808-1019 if you want to talk football. I woke up today. I was like, man, I want to throw. I need to find a group of people to run some routes, throw some routes. I need like 3 quarterbacks and as many receivers as possible. 5, 10, 15 receivers. So we can run trips. We can run, you know what I'm saying? We can have 1 quarterback drop back with 4 receivers. Some running backs too. Shout out to my boy Gabe. He was like, yo, I can run some routes out of the backfield. I'm like, we'll start with that. We'll start checking it down. We'll start as we warm up and build through the route tree. We'll start dropping back and throwing the little swing routes, little screens, little check downs. Yes, football time coming soon. But it's baseball time. Even though we're in the break in the All-Star game, say what you want about Major League Baseball, but again, I'm going to echo, they have the best All-Star couple of days. They have the best festivities. It is a baseball festival. And is that it? Is that how they're going to do this thing? Tiebreaker, top of the 10th, and it's delayed here. Ray, can you listen in there to see what because I don't know. Has there been a recent All-Star game okay. Wow. Home runs for the win. All-Star game tiebreaker. 3 players from each team, 3 swings from each player. Teams alternate. Team with most home runs wins the All-Star game. Come on, bro.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is amazing.
That's why they were showing us the batting cage.
Oh, because I saw Brent Rooker down there swinging. Yeah. Let him be the hero since he didn't get the opportunity to actually do what he set out to do last night in the Derby. They jobbed him in favor of Cal Raleigh.
And I saw Alonso down there as well. So imagine the Met winning the All-Star game in Atlanta. Sign me up.
This is lit. Baseball wins.
This is like getting a dunk contest to win the NBA All-Star game.
Like, they talk about a golden at-bat rule during the season. Nah, let's see this. This is a swing off. Man, I kind of hate that I'm on air right now.
You want to be a fan right now. You got to be professional. I understand.
Bro, I'm trying to hear what they're talking about. Kevin Burkhardt, former WFAN. I don't know what he did here. He was here way before I ever got here, but I heard he used to be on WFAN. He's talking to Aaron Boone. He's talking to Dave Roberts. And they're not ready to go. The party continues down in the A. This is amazing to have this tiebreaker. 6 unanswered runs to come back from down 6-0.
This is what the league needed because the last few All-Star games have kind of been snooze fest.
Yeah, they've been whack. They've been low scoring and they had the one a few years back. It was the catcher from the Colorado Rockies was the MVP. To show baseball in this capacity, the best of the best, where you can go up 6-0. The game ain't over.
I've been watching this game, Keith. Maybe I'm reaching here, but it almost seems like the pitchers were in on the gag too. They weren't throwing their best stuff, at least trying to get a certain level of entertainment going. Because in the past, I've seen a mix of pitches and really embarrass some of these hitters. It was a lot of challenging happening tonight.
And there was a lot of managing going on too.
Yeah.
Pinch hitting, going to the bullpen. These guys were actually managing the game. So this is great for the game of baseball. This is how you grow the game. And you don't even need Juan Soto. You don't. And this is great without Juan Soto stepping foot into Atlanta. And nobody is right now saying, damn, I wish I had Juan Soto for the swing off. They got plenty of bats. Let's tap into my chat because I know in the chat somebody was telling me that the American League was plus 3,000 to win on the money line when they went down 6-0. Let's see. Sweet Baby Jesus says, this is awesome. Swing off. Hector says they're going to have a swing off. Let's see. Gabe knew. Shout out to Gabe. Some of y'all are just smarter than me, and that's fine. That's why I lean on the chat, and I lean on the callers. Gabe says it's a home run derby if it's tied. He said that 8 minutes ago. News to me. I don't even know the rules of the home run derby.
Same here.
I watched it last night, but I still don't even know the rules to that. Let's see. They're at commercial break right now. Let's reset a little bit here. 888-808-1019. I have about an hour and 6 minutes left. And that's plenty of time. And we talked about the Jets. Trying to see what I didn't hit on yet. What I do want to add while we kind of wait for here. Because I'm not going to give you the play-by-play, but if you're a baseball fan, I don't know how you even threatened to boycott this game. And then look what the game turned into. Baseball gods here, people talking about boycotting for Juan Soto. They're like, all right, don't watch. You're going to miss a hell of a contest between the best in the world. And that's what I was saying before the break. What's fun about watching the All-Star game is like there shouldn't be any errors. And I know errors happen. But like for the most part, you're seeing these guys make great plays. These are the best players. Like these are tough at bats. These are the best pitchers versus the best hitters. It is a chess match. And now it has come down to, I think, the first ever. Let me go to Twitter because I'm sure people are hitting us with the info. The nerds are definitely, this is the first time in the history of American League will lead off Brent Rooker and then Randy Arozarena and finish with Jonathan Aranda. The National League will lead off Kyle Stowers, then Kyle Schwarber, and finish with Pete Alonso. If you're a Met fan, like this thing could end
up real nice
with Pete Alonso being the hero. He already played hero with 3 of the runs that came from his 3-run home run tonight.
He's robbed of his All-Star Game MVP. He can get it right back.
Shout out to Talking Baseball for that information. They also put out that the National League is slightly favored right now to win over the American League. They're minus 140. The American League is plus 108. And then, like, could this decide the MVP? Somebody has to win MVP of this thing. Pete Alonso's in a running with the 3-run homer. If he has a swing here to do something, Pete Alonso could be your 2025 MLB All-Star MVP. You know, they sell these shirts that say F. Juan Soto. That's got to be the vibe right now. That's got to be the vibe right now.
Yo, easy on my God Soto, man.
You know, I gotta bring balance to the force. Somebody's got to come in here and hate on Juan Soto after all the amazing glazing. Ross, what's up, man? Ross in Bergen County on the Fan.
What's up, man? How you doing? This is pretty cool, man.
If you like baseball and you know all these players, like most of us do that watch baseball, this is a sick exhibition for the sport. Grow the game. I think anybody that's watching this for the first time is like, wait, what? They do this? Well, when it comes to look at all these players. The players aren't sitting down. They're on the field. They're out of the dugout because this is crazy. This is historic. This is something we've never seen.
No, this is really cool, man. Now I don't understand
why. Gets a hold of one. Back,
and Aranda too. Hey, and everybody was saying they want the 10 outs back. This is the closest thing you're going to get to it, and it's deciding the game. This is really cool, man.
Look, it's kind of like soccer with the penalty kicks. Rooker is a dog. That's another one. And good for him getting the opportunity after he didn't get the opportunity to advance in the home run derby. A round of applause for this guy.
Shot in the game too. He had and I saw people were joking, like MLB put out the tweet, like Rooker sends wins 430, and they were saying like 430, 183. He's good, man.
He's like that.
And like you were saying too, like us personally, we follow the whole league, you know, nationally. A lot of people, I don't say a lot, but you know, there's certain callers they really just follow the
Mets and the Yankees.
They probably don't know what Stowers or you know, you go through some of the names like a Shane Smith. They probably never heard of some of these guys. So I mean, you see them all on this stage, and then the way they're closing this game out tonight. Hey, if it's gonna all be a gimmick, go full blown with the gimmick and at least make the results fun. And I think this is as fun as you're gonna make the result be. This is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, this is dope. So now, so now here comes Kyle Stowers. I mean, you can stay with me, Ross. We're this is live. Here comes Kyle Stowers. And now there was a lot of conversation around who's this guy? He deserved to be in the All-Star game. I mean, the Marlins aren't completely trash, but people were looking at him and saying that, you know, Juan Soto should be over him. He gets an opportunity right here for everybody to see him. Here comes his first swing. And that's another thing, too. Who's this guy pitching? How do they choose who pitches? Because all these guys have their own pitcher for the home run derby. This is just I don't know, this guy, Ebel with 91 from the Dodgers. This is just somebody on the Dodgers coaching staff.
We could use it for the rotation.
Is that ball going to go? No, it's short. I'm like, the camera works terrible here. But yeah, you know, on the fly, you got to figure out with this guy, hey, put it over the plate, groove it. Like the game is on the line. This is Major League Baseball is winning. This is getting clipped up, put all over social media. ESPN's going to talk about it. There it is. Kyle Stowers gets that one on his second swing. The National League is on the board.
This is best case scenario for him.
Yeah, this is something we've never seen. This is a new idea coming into play here got forced into action because the game was as competitive as it was. That's a tough way. Stowers goes down, only getting one. Advantage Rooker. I just think that this is going to grow legs on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. I think all of the podcasters and people that love baseball are going to talk about this. And if you said that you were boycotting the game and you decided not to watch because Juan Soto wasn't in it, you're missing literal history.
Yeah, you saw what I tweeted you, the Quan Solo, right? He's our only hope.
The generational Stephen Quan Soto. He did it, man.
And look who slotted to go last in this, by the way. Talk about the shift to him with the close.
It's going to come down to Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso can win MVP off of the 3-run homer he had in the game. And then, this is shaping up for Pete Alonso to be your 2025 MLB All-Star MVP, depending on what happens here with the National League, whether they're up, whether they're down. Pete has 3 swings.
What do you always say, bro, about the universe?
The universe never unconnects. And Pete Alonso did not do the home run derby. Guess where he's ready to turn on the home run derby gene? Right now, in the swing off.
The home run derby was going to find him.
Yeah, but he's ready for it because he's done it for years. This is his type of stuff.
Just when they thought he was out, they pull him back in.
MVP, pay Pete. I can't wait to see it. Ross, thanks for the call, man. Ross is a young guy that I know loves baseball and I know follows the league. And you young guys listening, I know you guys know all of these players because you've got phones in your hands and you got all the time. Is that one? No, that one's short. No, that goes for Randy. The cameras are off, man. Anyway, American League up 3-1. Randy Arozarena cranks his first one out. But yeah, I know you young guys follow the whole league, whether you're playing MLB The Show, whether it's your fantasy baseball team, or just you having all the time in the world to keep up with stats and box scores. And this has got to be amazing for you to see the best in the world go at it like this to decide who the winner will be. And this is how this year's festivities end. I don't know. I'm into it, man. I was plotting on going down there. I was politicking, but you got to be responsible. I got responsibilities in a household to run. In the past years, you guys know I had taken off. I was in LA in 2022. I was in Seattle in 2023. I wasn't on the fan during that time because baseball festival. At least my son will be old enough next year. I'll probably take him to Philly. And then every year after that, you can book it, man. Every year after that, I will be at the All-Star game. I will be, whether it's me going on my own dime, but I'm seeing a lot of these content creators go out there from like FanDuel sending them or T-Mobile sending them or any of these sponsors of the event sending people out there to cover the game. And this is a great year because Atlanta's a great host city. They were supposed to do it in 2021 when it got moved to Colorado. I remember going out there for that. And now it coming back for them to honor Hank Aaron and for them to, have this swing off happen down there. It's great, right? They're honoring Hank Aaron. And the players in the home run derby wore 3 in the American League for Babe Ruth and 44 for Hank Aaron, obviously because Hank Aaron broke Ruth's home run record. And there must be some cosmic energy. In Atlanta, keep swinging. It ends in a swing off. So Kyle Schwarber puts another one up on the board for the National League. It is 3-2 AL versus NL. Kyle Schwarber is on his second swing. This is great. I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of a play-by-play. Schwarber's got another one. Yeah. Trying to give you a little bit of a ride-along play-by-play if you're not home to watch, but I guarantee you see the highlights. I guarantee you ESPN is all over it. They better have Scott Van Pelt or somebody who actually knows baseball and knows these players able to talk about it. And we're going to talk about it because I'm on till 1. And I'm sure wherever Big Mac is watching this. And he's going to give you his thoughts and opinion. I know Big Mac loves baseball, so he's got to be loving this. And you know what? Who cares who wins? Kyle Schwarber, does he get that from his knee? He does for the lead. Kyle Schwarber, the first one to go up and hit 3 homers.
Schwarber lives for these moments.
He's like that, bro. Has he ever won a home run derby? No, he went at it with Bryce Harper the year Bryce Harper won it in D.C., which was phenomenal.
But he likes these clutchish kind of moments.
Yeah.
Those are big in them.
Yeah. So now the National League is up 4-3. This is electric if you like baseball. This is entertaining if you like these players and you know who is who and what is what. And you know what this means in the history of all-star games and, watching stuff like this. All right, let's take this break here. John, I'm coming to you next. Let's enjoy the ending here. Hopefully this ends with Pete Alonso walking it off, winning it, and taking home the 2025 MLB All-Star MVP. Keith McPherson on the Fan. 1,200 plus people watching my live stream. Everybody, I guess, that's home watching this swing off for Major League Baseball to decide who wins the All-Star game. We're going to take a break here. I've got 1 hour left. Call me up. KM to AM returns right after this. Yo, this is dope. I think it's going to come down to Alonso to win it because Aranda right now should at least be able to tie it or take the lead. And then it'll come down to Alonso to get it done. Let me I can cut the volume up now. Aranda gets one here. How did they go about choosing the players that hit? Were some of these guys just like willing to do it? Were some of these guys told before the game that they would do it? Or some of the other guys kind of just like kick back now, got their spikes off? Does it get off the high wall? This guy's gonna lose it where Pete Alonso's not even gonna have to go. The pressure's about to hit him. He's gonna lose it. He's got to tie it where Pete Alonso's not even gonna go. This is it. You got to hit this to tie it. Oh. No. Trash.
Score 6-6. You got to dive into the fight grid to fight the way they want it. This was the close call for Ronda. Tall one right. I haven't seen anything more clutch. I'm just sitting here speechless going, you have no idea how hard it is.
I'm guessing it was nobody that was in the Derby. Schwarber balled right there, boy. Clutch. He's like that. And that's it for All-Star. What I'll say, I've been to 4 All-Star games, and that feeling when the game is over, at least for me, it was always like emotional because it's just like, wait, that's it? There's nothing else? I was a boo. He sucks. Yeah, Judge would have came through. Like, how did he not have Judge ready? I guess Judge is already feet back kicked up. But yeah, now it's over. And you know what? Some people probably left. Some people probably left the ballpark. No, they definitely left the ballpark. Leave it to the Tampa Bay Rays to screw it up. All right, we're going back to the show. It's my last hour right now. Appreciate y'all, man. I say it all the time, but I can't thank you guys enough for deciding to
watch and listen and rock with me. Let's do it.
Man, I thought it was going to come down to Pete Alonso getting an opportunity to win it, but Jonathan Aranda from the Tampa Bay Rays, he didn't hit one. Pressure got to him, but that was sensational. Great finish to the All-Star game and festivities. The first ever swing off. Kyle Schwarber hit 3, so he might be the MVP. But yeah, MVP paid Pete Alonso, the polar bear, was waiting in the wings. I was sure that Aranda was going to hit at least one to tie it, and then it would fall on Pete Alonso to hit at least one to win it. NL wins in the tiebreaker in the first ever swing off. Aranda's got to hang his head. Now I want to know, how did they decide who competed in that? Obviously, nobody that was in the home run derby the day before. Also, I don't think any of these guys were guys that were starters in the game. I think these guys, I got to go back and look. I think all of these guys were guys that were just kind of waiting in the wings, were waiting for an opportunity. Yeah, but that was sick. That was sick. Now we need more All-Star games in the future to get to ties in the bottom of the ninth and then go to that. But there's the beauty of baseball, man. They're working on things. They are creating things and adding things. And that they just added, you just got to see that executed and play out. That was great. That was highly entertaining.
Immediately an all-time great All-Star game?
Immediately an all-time great one because it was 6-0. And then you get 6 unanswered to tie it. This is the first ever All-Star game with the automatic balls and strike system. They're playing in pretty much a brand new ballpark down there. And you get the swing off and it ends in dramatic fashion like that. Well done for Major League Baseball. If you love the game, even though we complain about it, even though, I before one of the breaks, I was like, I'm going to come in and say all the things that I thought they did wrong. And I'm like, I'm not going to keep doing that. Like, I thought the jerseys sucked. I thought they looked like Toy Story jerseys or like Kid Little League jerseys. I thought the crowns of the hats were terrible. I'm not gonna rain on MLB's parade. I am a baseball fan. I thank God that I've seen the Yankees win World Series and decided, hey, Mom, I want to play baseball. I'm gonna be a Yankee fan. Nobody made me be a baseball fan, and I've been able to take my career from 2014 MLB Fan Cave to 2025, sitting here on the fan, watching the game with you guys, talking about baseball. So let me take another call before we go to break. I think I could sneak that in. I said I was going to go to John in Pittsburgh. What's up, John? You're on the fan.
Oh, wow. What a great game, right?
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't even know that was a thing. Maybe I read it somewhere once upon a time, but I didn't know that it could come down to the swing off like that.
No, I did not know that whatsoever. But yeah, kudos on you for doing a whole radio show and doing this game at the same time because a lot of dead air for me. But so I wanted to talk about growing the game anyway. So I was at the bar earlier, and I guess like the pregame show was on, and they were complaining about Ludacris being on there, and he was saying they need to read MLB needs to read their audience and everything like that. I'm like, they're in Atlanta, they're not going to play Glenn Campbell. You know what I mean? Like,
so not to cut you off, they did read their audience. When I was in Atlanta last August, I swear to you, I saw a Ludacris bobblehead giveaway. I was a week early, and I was like, damn, I want to come back. It was a Ludacris bobblehead. Like, they're in Atlanta. Ludacris is a legend down there. He used to be on the radio down there. He's one of the biggest rappers from down there. They're playing to the region.
Correct. But I'm with a bunch of stuffy boomers in Pittsburgh, and they didn't want to, like, the hip-hop culture and everything else. But I'm like, I'm like, they're trying to grow the sport because baseball did get a little stuffy. You know what I mean? And but it's getting better. But these are the same guys that complain about Ken Griffey wearing a backwards hat.
Yeah, and people got to get off that. Thanks for the call, John. I remember when I was in the fan cave, people were running with make baseball cool again. I always thought it was cool. But like to make baseball cool again, you need the influence from someone like Ludacris, who is an actor in Fast and the Furious and other movies, and then also has multiple hit records and is a big part of that ATL community and the Braves in that ballpark. Like I said, I was down there last year. They had a ludicrous bobblehead giveaway. This is not random. All right, let's go to the break and the update. When we come back, we'll do the big shot of the night, and then we'll take all of your calls on everything else. Let's hit the update right now.
Sports with BT and Sal, middays 10 to
Yo, can you cue up the big shot instrumental?
Good morning at 12 a.m. I'm Jen Williams. The 2025 All-Star Game would be determined by the first ever swing-off. Despite a 3-run shot by Pete Alonso, the first home run by a Met at the event in 19 years gave the National League some pad. The American League squad, managed by Yankee skipper Aaron Boone, had other plans rallying to tie things up 6-6 in the ninth. As for the Derby, each team picks 3 players who get 3 tries, hit one out of the park at Truist Park. National League led 4-3 heading into the third round thanks to the Phillies' Kyle Schwarber going 3 for 3, but the Rays' Jonathan Aranda couldn't connect, and the Polar Bear, who was on deck, didn't have to bat. National League winning the bragging rights 4-3 in a home run derby. Sauce is now the highest paid corner in the game. The Jets reportedly signing 2-time All-Pro Sauce Gardner to a 4-year extension worth $124 million, $85 million of that guaranteed. The move a day after the team locked up wide receiver Garrett Wilson to a long-term deal securing 2 foundational players through 2030. The new regime setting the tone, dishing out $250 million before training camp. The Liberty's Sabrina Ionescu and the Fever's Caitlin Clark set to battle it out in the WNBA's 3-point contest this weekend in Indy. I'm Jennifer Williams.
The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights, big city, down in the A. You know they gotta have somebody that's going to be the big shot of the night tonight. And I thought it was going to be Pete, but it goes to Kyle Schwarber. Yeah, Kyle Schwarber, as you just heard Jen with the update, he goes 3 for 3. He was the only guy in the swing off to go 3 for 3, hit a homer on all 3 swings, and that enabled Pete Alonso to not even have to go because Jonathan Aranda had nothing. He got nada on all 3 swings. That was amazing. Kyle Schwarber, who is a home run hitter, and he's like that, was ready for the moment. And I still do like how they stacked it. Like to have Pete Alonso waiting in the wings too. The National League wins. And man, what a night for Major League Baseball. What a night for baseball fans. Taking your calls on what you thought of the 2025 All-Star Game and festivities. Like we just took the call from John in Pittsburgh about, oh, they didn't like Ludacris being on the. You know how many people did like Ludacris being on there though? Like they have to do that. And then like me being a hip hop head, I love Ludacris. Sometimes we rejoin with Ludacris beats. When Ludacris came out, I had all the first 3 Ludacris albums on CD. Like I guess millennials and younger. Like we rock with Ludacris. Who would you have wanted them to perform? Like who would you have wanted them to get? They had Jermaine Dupri involved. Like that is Atlanta to me. Have you ever been to Atlanta? You know what Atlanta? Well done. Well executed by Major League Baseball. The baseball festival ends, and it's funny that it ends with Kyle Schwarber as the MVP because next year the festivities head to Pennsylvania. See you there down in Philly at Citizens Bank Park. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Joe in New Haven, Connecticut on the fan. What's up, Joe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we talked about it when the Phillies signed him and the Yankees not talking to him and saying, I don't know, it is what it is. The Yankees needing left-handed power, whatever. You know, I'm pretty sure we had those conversations about the Yankees not talking to him. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to. I have so many, contacts and friends that are down there, and people that I know through, my time working at MLB, and then even being on MLB Network. I can't wait to talk to those folks about, like, hey, how well executed was this on the ground? Like, this was a win for Major League Baseball all the way around, right? Not just the way that it ended. I'm sure everybody's going to be pleased with the turnout and what they got this year, especially because it was supposed to be down there 4 years ago, and for it to come back 25 years since it's been in Atlanta. I think this is great. Yeah, I saw some people talking about it. I don't know when it's due to come up here. I think they're going to get it to Fenway before they get it back to New York. But it would obviously turn to Yankee Stadium next before Citi Field, because Citi Field had it last. Hopefully they do it before Judge is done and before he's completely cooked, because he said he'll do the Derby if it's in Yankee Stadium, and I'm like, he ain't losing. Yeah, you could see the look on his face, like all right, Jazz is representing us, and Jazz is not like Judge had a look on his face like, I'll watch all these guys. I could easily put the baseball out of this place a bunch of times. Like, these guys are coming up there with like 10 to 15 homers. Yeah, right. Like, Judge is putting up 20, 25. And then also probably like O'Neal Cruz had the like 513-foot bomb that he hit out of the ball. Like, I've been to that ballpark. For him to put that ball over there where people walk is insane. That's why, like, Ronald Acuna was like, oh my God, like, that's his ballpark. I think Judge could do some stuff like that too. Yeah, like, I could put the ball there. I could have America looking at me, and me hitting 500-foot home runs. Maybe in a few years. I don't think they have it. I know they have next year. Um, I'll look up MLB upcoming All-Star games, but I would think it would be at least like 5 years before it could come back to Yankee Stadium. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the call, Joe. 888-808-1019. Wide open for calls. Open mic time as well. My last hour, I always like to just open it up for anything we didn't hit on. Like, there's some random things in my notes, like Odell Beckham Jr. with his Bitcoin. I'll mention that. Teddy Bridgewater and some nonsense that went on with him. We'll get there. But yeah, when you look it up, Citizens Bank Park is locked in for 2026. They don't have the next few years per se. Let's see. Oh, the Chicago Cubs will host in 2027. I gotta go there too. Wrigley is amazing if you've never been to Wrigley. And it's been too long since I've been to Wrigley. So yeah, book it. My bosses at WFAN, I will not be on in when the Midsummer Classic comes on in 2026. I'm going to Philly. I'm going to drive down there. I'm going to book a hotel, and I'm in Philly probably Sunday through Wednesday, and then I'm flying to Chicago in 2027 because I got homies in Chicago, and that's going to be an amazing. They have the hotel Zachary I've stayed at across from Wrigley Field, really nice hotel. They redid that whole place, and that's the thing too, right? Major League Baseball, it was funny. Someone was like, I forget what they tweeted me. They were like, oh, this should be in New York. And I was like, oh, well, if the home run derby was in New York, it would have been rained out because it was pouring rain the other night. They want to bring these things to newer ballparks, and they also want to bring them to, like, they have to rotate through cities. But like, if you look, like, the last two All-Star games were at Globe Life Park, which is brand new. I think the newest ballpark in baseball. Then Truist Park, which is also one of the newer parks. Citizens Bank Park is really nice, but it's still fairly new. It's not old. Wrigley is old. It's one of the last cathedrals, but they have revamped it and renovated it so much. It's practically new. They're doing the same type of thing. They did that with LA, right? LA was supposed to have the All-Star game in 2020. Pandemic hit. They pushed it back to 2022. And I remember going to Dodger Stadium. They revamped the whole back area at Dodger Stadium. And then across the parking lot, they built a venue where, like, the night of the All-Star game, there was this cover band and food and drinks and a whole party for people that were still partying there at Dodger Stadium. That was sick. Fenway is next. If Fenway isn't 2028, it's going to be 2029. I don't know when we're going to get Yankee Stadium. Maybe 2030. Maybe 2030, but I wouldn't even bank on that. I said it'd be 5 years. Maybe 2030 we see the All-Star game come back to Yankee Stadium, but by then Judge is 38. By then I don't know, he might compete, but like who knows who's going to be in Major League Baseball in 5 years. Like nobody knew Cal Raleigh was going to come out, like Junior Caminero, even like O'Neal Cruz. I don't know. The sport is alive and well. It's healthy. They have done a lot to change the rules of the game. I don't think we even realize how different the game of baseball is now. I don't think we even realize things that are being done digitally to promote the game and promote the players. I don't know. I love the game. I think it's in a good spot. And congratulations to MLB for executing and having a great baseball festival once again. Now, they better get things right with Tony Clark and Manfred and these labor issues, because we might go down to Philly in 2026 and then be locked out after that, where they ain't even know worrying about what the next issue is. But yeah, I did have that article up. I don't want to read from it, but there, the dividing lines. Let's see. The strategy is to get directly to the players, Manfred said at a recent investor day for the publicly traded Braves. He says, I don't think the leadership of this union is anxious to lead the way to change. So we need to energize the workforce in order to get them familiar with or supportive of the idea that maybe changing the system could be good for everybody. So these players do not want a salary cap. Obviously, they want as much money as they can get. They're celebrating Juan Soto's contract because it opens up the door for Kyle Tucker's contract and everybody else coming behind it. The union's objection to a salary cap extends the same core objection that the organization has held for nearly its entire existence. It also continues to point to recent issues in cap-based systems in other major sports, such as a frequent cap-driven roster cut and contract restructurings in the NFL. I'm not going to bore you with the article, but like everything is pointing to they're going to need to have a work stoppage to kind of resolve this. But they have good momentum now. And I remember being worried about the health of the sport in 2021. I remember being worried about them not being able to start on time and, all of that. But whatever. We got a little bit of time before we get to there. Shout out to my guy, H&L Dre, talking about who they wanted to perform at All-Star. Like I saw Jazz Chisholm went live last night, I think at the boardroom party, and like Quavo was performing. Dre says they wanted Lil Baby, Young Thug, and the rest of them. Like Atlanta is a hip-hop hotbed. There's nothing but like great rappers and music that comes out of Atlanta. It wouldn't be right. Even with the theme that they had, like you saw, if you follow the Yankees, they were in a diner and it was Jazz and Judge in a diner and like Max Fried and Rodon. And I'm like, I know they have some diners down there, but really like Waffle House is a thing down there. So I'm like, is that a play on Waffle House without, being able to license and use the name Waffle House? Anyway, it's funny. I mentioned it was open mic, and I'm opening up to calls on everything. Everything that I didn't mention. And I'll drop the Bitcoin story with Odell Beckham Jr. if you didn't already hear it. But I said earlier in the show, I led with the Jets. I think we might have taken one call, but now we have some Jets calls. We have some All-Star game reaction as well, and we'll bring it home. But I'll reiterate what I said about the Jets. But first, let me hit you with this Odell Beckham Jr. story if you didn't catch that. And then, we'll talk a little football. Bobby, I see you on hold. We'll get there. So if you remember, Odell Beckham Jr., when he signed with the Rams, not after the Giants gave him almost $100 million, right? He had money in the bank. He was straight. But Odell Beckham Jr., when he signed with the Rams, he basically said, hey, pay me in Bitcoin. And people laughed at him, obviously, because they're like, what? Pay me in Bitcoin? Like, how stupid is that? But when you already have the bread, it's an investment you make. So back in 2021, Odell Beckham Jr. asked for $750,000 to be paid in Bitcoin. Bitcoin was worth $64,000 at the time. People laughed at OBJ. Well, OBJ, the B stands for Bitcoin. Odell Bitcoin Jr. Now Bitcoin is trading at almost double what it was at 121,000. So that 750,000 that Odell Bitcoin Jr. signed for just turned into 1.43 million, and he's already rich. Are the Giants going to sign him? Remember a couple years back, the Jets were going to sign him, right? They had those meetings. He showed up in all green. Then he ended up signing with the Baltimore Ravens. Then last year he was with the Dolphins. I think he's cooked. I wouldn't waste any time with him, but I don't know. Maybe the Giants do a second tour and see if he can help Malik Neighbors, LSU connection. The Jets don't need him. The Jets are rocking with Garrett Wilson and Josh Reynolds and Alan Lazard. Now that you paid Garrett Wilson, he's got to get the rock. He's got to be a focal point of this offense. But they're going to run the ball. Okay, Bobby and Belmore, it's your turn on the fan. What's up, Bobby? yeah. I had a friend try to sell me Bitcoin in like 2011, try and get me to buy in with him. And I just thought he was bugging out crazy. And I didn't even think about it. I'm like, no, dude, that sounds stupid, bro. I don't like that. In 2011. Swing off 10 times better than Manfred's man on second. Manfred's man on second, they won't even do that in the postseason, which tells you it's not valid. It's just a way to short us baseball fans during the regular season. I saw like Tarek Skubal had his jersey off. I think once the starters, it's a long weekend. I think once these starters come out of the game, they're checking out and they're stepping into their break. They're stepping into their vacation. Like they're not ready to go. So I think these guys were the end of the bench guys that were ready to go. But no, Alonso started the game. I don't know. I mean, maybe it depends. Maybe if you're in a stay ready group and you want to be in it, I'm sure some guys opted out. But that's got to be something in a pregame plan that the manager has to plan for. I'd like to know more about that. Maybe they'll tell us postgame. I'll try to look for some audio of postgame commentary from anybody. What I come around to is last year was an odd year. They fired their coach week 5, and it's tough to play. It's tough to care, especially when you come into that Jet situation where all they did was overhype them and underperform and lose. But I think Aaron Glenn, like I said, former corner himself, who's a former defensive coordinator and has evaluated talent. I mean, he came out of Detroit where Sauce Gardner grew up. And I think he looked at Sauce Gardner and is like, there are not many corners like this in the league. This guy is a top 5 corner. And with us and working with us the next few years, we're going to get the best out of him. Those coaches couldn't get the best out of him. We're going to shore up him right after we shored up Garrett Wilson, and this is going to really pick up the team. I have to look up how they broke. So these were extensions. And I got to look at how they broke up the money again, but I'm pretty sure this is a preemptive move. This isn't going to stop them from doing anything later. And like I said, I think it's a morale move as well. These are 2 of the best players on the team. These are 2 top 10 draft picks on the team. These are offensive and defensive rookies that won it in the same year. These are guys that you want to build your franchise around. So you lock them up, and you almost lock them up with like the length of your contract, right? Like I think Aaron Glenn's got a 5-year contract, whatever. Like I think there's more to this, but I think this is mostly optics and morale and them meeting with these guys and saying, you guys are the leaders now. And they need to do that as well because so much of the Jets was shaped around Aaron Rodgers, and he's out of the picture now. And Justin Fields is not a celebrity quarterback. He's one of 53. So you know what you do? Your highest paid players are guys that have been here, a receiver, a corner, and guys that you watched enough film on that you believe in, and they lead the way. When the fans go to camp, they see those guys. The fans can wear their Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson jersey for the rest of the decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this was a way for this regime to say, yeah, these guys pass the eye test with us. We believe in them, and we know we're going to get more out of them than the Jets have gotten before. Yeah, yeah, you have to be, because that's your ace. That is the best pitcher in your rotation. But I'm not concerned. Like, my concern on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 4, maybe. I was at the game Saturday, and I was like, wow, I don't know. We thought it was a lot with Rodon on the mound, and with Fried on the mound after having Rodon on the mound pitch his best game of his Yankee tenure. You got to have Max Fried, right, or you're not doing anything. But I think we're at the break, and he just went back to Atlanta, and I think he's going to get some time off, and I think he'll be fine and he'll lock back in. But yes, what you're saying about the better competition getting to him, we saw the Dodgers get at him, the Mets get at him, Cubs get at him. Like, that doesn't bode well for the postseason. Yeah, July 25th. No, they're stretching the truth. Thanks for the call, Bobby. What I've said about Volpe is they grade him on a curve. He is their own. They're going to protect him. So I don't, the fan base jumping all over Anthony Volpe. There's nothing I can say to y'all. Has he played well? No. Do the Yankees, when you check the forecast and see it's raining and then it doesn't rain, but you feel something, do they piss on your head and tell you it's raining? Yeah, they do. They'll tell you he's a 700 OPS, and then you look, he's not a 700 OPS for his career for the season. They tell you that he's an elite defender, and you've seen him throw the ball around. You've seen him lead the league in errors. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro. But I hope he's having a great break. I hope he's resetting, and I hope he can turn it on in the second half and kind of right the ship, because there are no other options. They're not trading for a shortstop. They don't have another one on the roster, and they die hard on their decisions. Their trades, their contracts, and their decisions. And their decision was to draft Anthony Volpe to, even though his, development was affected through COVID, and, he didn't play that many minor league games at AAA, to let him come into camp and win the position, win the job, and then for 3 years say, you're the guy. We're not sending you down. Like, they chose that. Nobody made them do that. Nobody forced them to do that. Like, that is the Yankees' decisions. So they're gonna live and die by that. Volpe is a shortstop. He's not killing the team to the point where they're losing because of him, but it is concerning. He was leading the league, and he probably still is leading the league in runners left on base and scoring position. They say he's the reverse RBI leader. And I feel like that has bled into the defensive side of the ball, where it ain't good. It ain't good. There's nothing good to say about it. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna tell you. I watch the games just like you do. Some of his at bats drive me insane. But I'm rooting for the kid. I want the kid to fail. I don't want the kid to fail. Some of you guys are rooting against the kid like you want him to fail. Some of the criticism has gotten so malicious where I'm like, well, damn, are you rooting for the laundry at all? Like, is it that personal? Because he's local? Like, that's kind of weird to me. Like, one of us, like the one kid from the area that grew up to be the Yankee shortstop, as we all idolize Derek Jeter and mimic his batting stance and his jump throw, and you know what I'm saying? All of us talk about Derek Jeter's mantra and mentality and like tried to imitate that. I'm rooting for the kid, bro. I don't want to see him fail, but I think all of us understand that the Yankees have gone above and beyond to protect him. I was talking to you guys before last week when I was like, okay, they're all in lockstep. Volpe slides in to win the game, and funny enough, his bobblehead is not him at the plate; it's him sliding. He slides in to win the game,
in extras where the Yankees rally back, from being no hit. The captain, Aaron Judge, goes out of his way to talk about no other guy I'd rather have on third base than Anthony Volpe. Oh, a good thing 11 is facts. I knew he was going to get the job done. Like, they're building him up. He won the game for us. They're building up. Like, okay. Before that, a couple days before, when DJ LeMahieu got DFA'd, Brian Cashman was asked, and Brian Cashman talked about the viral video that you can find on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter of him talking about Volpe on his maiden voyage and having his sea legs, and like when Volpe's crushing it, check back with me, and we're checking back with you, Brian. He's not crushing it. Brian Cashman talked about that, but then also came out and endorsed Anthony Volpe. They're not moving off of it. And then last but not least, the guy that has been doing it after every game has been telling you he's an elite defender, and not just after every game. If you watch his appearances on Talking Yanks with John Boy and Jake, he gets feisty with John Boy and Jake when they talk about Volpe. So the organization is telling you guys, oh, shut up, back off. This is what we've chosen for now. Maybe in the offseason we'll address it, but for today and for the second half of the season, Anthony Volpe's the shortstop. We believe in him. He's got this, that you guys might not see, but he's going to be the shortstop, and he's going to figure it out. So fingers crossed for that. 888-808-1019. We've got calls and reactions on the All-Star game and the swing off and how it finished. That's probably how it will finish my show. Keep McPherson on till 1 a.m. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. All right, Joe. I'm trying to see what else I didn't hit on. I'm trying to see what else is in my notes. And man, appreciate y'all in the chat. Sorry I can't. I got to take these calls, and I got to really, hit on. I'm on live radio in New York City. Like, I got to really hit on, what we're talking about. And so, like, I see you guys talking amongst yourselves. Yeah, let me see if I can get to the chat a bit. And I'm also checking my social media to see how my stuff played. I'm just cooking some nerds on Twitter. Okay. You need to talk about he had Judge, Vlad, and Cal and didn't use him in a regular game where he always met. Oh, y'all putting this on Boone. I am going to bring this up. No matter what, y'all find a way to blame Aaron Boone.
No matter what, y'all find a way. No matter what, y'all find a way. I'm looking to see if anybody else is on this take that Boone messed it up with who he's got in there. And now they're giving their World Series predictions, and Jeter picked Yankees over Cubs. Okay. Let me see what else y'all talking about. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. The streets is starting to say I'm the best on the fan. I mean, not starting, but like I go to the stadium, I meet people, they're like, yo, you're the best. Your show is the best. I'm like, depends who you ask. Yeah. Robert's got the best of Boone again. Damn. Say it ain't so, man. I'll be cooking these Twitter nerds, bro. I just was cooking this Sonic the Hedgehog cat, and then I go to the page. It's a whole girl. She might be in here right now. Eileen, what's good with you? You was clearly watching the stream. You hung up on some nonsense. You hung up over me talking about not going to see the Superman movie. I wasn't going to see that shit anyway. I don't go to the movie theater, bro. And it's not because Mike Francesa said the movie's.
Yes, live on Paramount Plus.
Oh, man. Aaron Boone did it again. I didn't even realize I was not looking at it like this. Keith McPherson on the fan, as I was just talking about Aaron Boone defending Volpe before the break. Well, this is something that I was not looking at all because I don't care about the All-Star game winner or loser. But they found a way to put it on Boone again, boy. In my chat, they're talking about Boone is trash. He lost to Dave Roberts again. He had Judge. He had Cal Raleigh. He had Vlad. And he didn't use any of them, just like a regular season game where he always messes things up. Y'all find a way to blame Boone even during the All-Star break. It's always Aaron Boone's fault. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Muhammad is in Manhattan on the fan next. What's up, man? You got it.
Hey, Keith, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm no man. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of Steve, and he turned the page over to you, and I've been listening ever since. So it's a good listen. I have a love-hate relationship listening to you. I'm a big Yankees fan, Giants fan. So you being a Cowboys fan, it doesn't bode well for
But
me.
I don't rub anything in when the Cowboys beat the Giants because I hate the Cowboys just as much as Giants fans hate the Cowboys.
No,
I understand the Met fan not being a fan of me, right? I just was talking in the chat. I'm like, I go to Yankee Stadium, people are like, yo, you're the best. You're the best host on WFAN. I love your show. And I'm like, depends who you ask. This is Yankee Stadium. If we go to Citi Field, I wouldn't be getting this response.
I just want to talk a little bit about the ending of the All-Star game. I just felt like, how we talk about we want to get baseball recognized, and we want to spread the baseball to everybody. And they had a huge chance with getting Judge versus Ohtani in the home run. And I just feel like
it's only 3 swings. It's not like they were gonna swing forever. It was just 3 swings each, and they could have just gone and it would have garnered more eyeballs to the game.
So Jonathan Aranda, this guy's got to hang his head as a loser for the rest of ever. Like, some guys don't want to do the home run derby because they don't want to end up like Jazz. That's why I like that Jazz took it in stride. Like, some of these guys don't want that. It's an exhibition. It doesn't mean anything. But some of these guys shy away from the moment. They don't want to wear the L. And also, the guys like Ohtani and Judge, there are levels to this. Those guys are at the highest level. Those guys have MVP trophies. Like, they ain't doing that. They're done. They're checked out.
It's more for the fans than them. It's just
You're right.
It's not like
I'm not saying you're wrong. There are kids at home that wanted to see Judge versus Ohtani in that swing off. Instead, you got Randy Arozarena. Instead, you got Kyle Stowers.
You being on the show live, you would have been like, "Hey, Judge versus Ohtani," and like people would have gone crazy. And then you would when Twitter people are like, there would have been more eyeball on the game. That's just my opinion. And then one other thing with the All-Star stuff for Soto, I just personally feel like he wasn't voted in by his own players, right? Imagine if there was a little party at the WFAN and everybody voted and Keith didn't get in. It wasn't something wrong with everybody.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't even trip. I'd be like, yeah, well, obviously.
If your other players are not voting you in, then you should
But the thing is, I'd be like, bro, I don't have the largest contract here. Why y'all hating on me? Thanks for the call, bro. 888-808-1019. What it is with Soto and his peers, they know how good Juan Soto is, but he wasn't Juan Soto to start the season, so it gave them that little bit of an excuse to say, not getting my vote. Nope, I don't got to put him. Tatis' number's better. Ronald Acuna's better player than him. Ronald Acuna's the MVP. I'm not voting for Soto. Like, he gave them that because of his not slow start. His slow start is better than most of the guys in baseball. But he gave them that because he signs this huge contract and he doesn't get out of the starting blocks. He had to get out of the gate to ensure he got votes. He was right on the cusp. It was Kyle Tucker. It was PCA. It was Ronald Acuna Jr. It was Tatis. And then because you needed the representation of all of the teams, a guy like, and Corbin Carroll was in there, but a guy like Kyle Stowers is in there to represent the Miami Marlins. They're not going to take out the lone Miami Marlin. And I think that the game went on just fine and they had just as much success as they would or wouldn't have with or without Juan Soto. Hey, Zeus is in the Bronx on the Fan. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fine. Can I ask you, this is you think the All-Star game was kind of funny tonight? I don't know if you watched it, because when I heard it on the radio, number one, Diaz blew the save, right? And then when they got to this new thing now, swing off thing, I didn't know this was coming this year. And then all of a sudden they had Pete Alonso to go to the last batter, and then they said that he didn't want to do the home run derby. That sound kind of weird to you, or not really?
Nah. So the way, I thought it was setting up for Pete Alonso to definitely win it. I thought he was going to hit one in the air to win it and throw his bat in the air, but Aranda couldn't hit one. The home run derby for Pete, he had a bad showing last year, and I think he's done it 4, maybe even 5 times. I know he's won it twice. Enough is enough. That's fine. This is different because the chances of it coming down to the swing off were so small. Him being willing to step up and not even having to have to go is great. I don't know about any other conspiracy theories or fixes with that.
And the thing was, it didn't make no sense for him. I know he got robbed with the MVP because Paul Schubert won it for the swing off. Did it make any difference?
Who you wanted Pete Alonso to win the MVP? Who did you want to win the MVP?
No, but they didn't make any difference because he hit the home run and then they hit the swing off. Carl Schubert won the game for the National League. It didn't make any difference. Because, it was I think it was like sort of like the way I felt like was a Mets Philly thing in that division.
Nah, thanks for the call, bro. You was losing me a bit, bro. I wasn't picking up what you were putting down. It's not a Mets Philly thing. I thought the only thing that I could connect there was it was great that a Philly ended this year's All-Star game and will pick up the next All-Star game in Philly. But they weren't. It wasn't a. They were on the same team. Pete Alonso picked Schwarber up off the ground. There was none of that. It was we're trying to win, and then Schwarber wins the MVP because he was the only one in the swing off that all three swings he put the ball out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was putting down there because I thought I was with him for a second and then,
I was trying to
he
follow.
lost me.
It's getting late. Sometimes I'll be thinking too hard while y'all talking and saying something. I don't even know what y'all saying or what I'm thinking. And I can't pick all that up. But maybe it's the game of shadows. We always think there's some underlying theme or something we're not seeing. I mean, I already accused him of rigging it for Cal Raleigh. Anyway, they are putting out World Series predictions. And I forgot that they do this. But, at the end of the broadcast, Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez both picked the Yankees in their 2025 World Series predictions. Jeter has the Yankees beating the Cubs. A-Rod has the Yankees avenging the loss against the Dodgers. So that backs up what I've been saying on the Fan all year. The Yankees aren't going to the World Series. They're not winning it this year. Jonathan is out in Los Angeles. What's up, man? You're on the Fan.
Yo, damn, bro, you stole my thunder right there.
Nah, I queued you up. We share the thunder.
Oh, that's what's up. There it is. But yeah, bro, what do you think about that, man? 'Cause I mean, Jeter, I think A-Rod chose the Dodgers to win it all last year, and they did.
Bro, last year he took the Orioles. Didn't he take the Orioles last year?
No, it was Jeter. It was Jeter.
Right, Jeter picked the Orioles last year, and I was like, come on, bro.
Yeah, and A-Rod
They
chose
got
the
you
Dodgers
fooled.
to win it all.
I mean, I don't expect anybody to go back-to-back in modern-day baseball as far as winning it, because we haven't seen that since the Yankees did it. I don't know what to think, man. You know what I think? Why do I go to ESPN right now and they have Summer League basketball on instead of somebody live talking about the All-Star game and how it ended? I don't care about Portland versus New Orleans Summer League from earlier today.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess that's how much people care about the All-Star game, bro. But honestly, I mean, that didn't really got my attention. Oh, and let me tell you something too, bro. The reason they don't really put Ohtani and Judge, I went to the All-Star game 3 years ago here in LA, and I noticed that players, as soon as they're out the game, they'll probably stay and hang around for like an inning or two. And bro, and they book it. They leave with their family.
So
Yeah,
I said
and
that too. I said Tarek Skubal was in street clothes, and maybe some of those guys weren't even there. They start their break. They're 1 foot into their little bit of a vacation.
Yeah, man. I mean, and you can't blame them, bro, because then on Friday you have to get back on their second half, bro. But hey, Keith, so you're telling me that because I know a few Yankee friends of mine, they clearly say that the Yankees are not a championship caliber team, man. But I mean, look at what happened with Arizona and Texas. It's probably me being biased, but who knows, bro? Other than that, great show, Keith. Thanks.
Yo, appreciate you, John. And I know you love them Yankees. I love them too, but I keep it a bean with you. In my heart of hearts, as soon as Cole went down, I'm like, we're not winning. We're not winning. As soon as Cole went down, I'm like, not this year. That's the first one. And I just took a call about Max Fried. And you just mentioned the Texas Rangers who won it. What did they do at the deadline? Man, before the deadline, they went and got Aroldis Chapman. They went and got Jordan Montgomery. They went and got Max Scherzer. They made moves to shore up their team so that they could make a run. And that was the most random year. I don't know if they'll ever get back there, Do I expect Brian Cashman and the Yankees to make enough moves to make a run this year? I don't. I'm not getting my hopes up. I've lived this. I've seen this episode. I've had this dream too many times. I'm old now. I don't believe in Santa Claus anymore. Peter Pan left Never Never Land a long time ago. I just fool me. Can't fool me again. I don't think Cashman is gonna actually tell the world that we're going to town. We need a third baseman. We need a starter. We need 2 relievers, and then actually go to the deadline and get all of that. And then this team is ready to march on to beat AJ Hinch and the Tigers, to beat. They got to worry about their own division, bros. What are we talking about? Like, and I love the Yankees just as much as you guys. I am just keeping it real. As of today, it is freshly July 16th. Your New York Yankees, yeah, they have a ton of talent. Are they in first place in their division? No. They're 2 games back. And a game behind them is the Boston Red Sox. So just start with winning. We want to jump to the World Series. Are they going to win the division? I think they will. But then, are they going to get in the postseason and have the pitching? Is Judge going to tense up? Is Rodon going to turn back into a pumpkin? I think it was Bobby and Belmore who wanted to cite Max Fried's stats in the postseason and Max Fried's stats in the regular season against postseason-bound teams. So, yeah, I want to believe in rainbows and butterflies. I want to believe in the Tooth Fairy and all that too. But, like, where? I just watched these dudes have 2 6-game losing streaks in a month. Where? We just came off talking about how Anthony Volpe, like, I don't know, bro. I heard A-Rod say you're not winning the World Series with your shortstop hitting 215. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But I bet you I'll be watching the games. I'll see you guys I'll probably be at Anthony Volpe bobblehead night and claim me one. I'll be like, I'll see you guys at the bleachers. I'll see you guys in the terrace. I'll see you in the WFAN suites, Legends, in the actual suites. I'll be around. I'll be out there clapping and yelling and 2 strikes whale, all that. I'll be in the stadium when they play all those ridiculous sounds and the accordion and 4 seconds of a beat. And then eventually when it comes to a screeching halt, I'll be here on the fan and I'll be like, gotta wait till 2026. But at least Garrett Cole will be back. Jack is in Rockaway, Queens on the fan. What's up, Jack?
Hi, it's okay. I'm just hoping I'd like to make some Yankee comments, of course. I got to mention my Nets, if you don't mind. I haven't spoken to you in a while about the Nets, and I made it to the NBA draft. I took my wife, and of course, I was super excited for our number 1 picks. And we had a top 8 pick in an 8-player NBA draft. All the consensus was number 1 and 2 were taken, and then there was another 6 quality players.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. You know, 5 number 1 picks. How bad could it be? And I turned to my wife, and I says, we're picking. I said, they got to pick the center from Duke, because it's that. Unless he does something really stupid and wants to be the smartest person in the room. And now think, everybody. Very simple. And I'm thinking, and they call a guy Denim Jeans or whatever, Igor Denim, and I'm for it. And now I'm reality hit in. I'm in that fan, and Marks is there, and he'll probably be picking in 7 years when my kid he'll be 9. When in 7 years when we get Denver's pick, and I'm realizing that him and Cashman and they're not going anywhere, no matter what. Especially Marks, no matter what he does. And now I'm in the reality setting in on me on the Net fan, and I'm looking at the draft, and I'm trying to see that New Orleans traded a number 1 pick next year in a loaded West team, and they're going to be bottom feeders in the West, and just to move up to the 13th spot. I'm like, what could we have gotten to just to go back? And I'm like, what could he been thinking that
they didn't make one move? They didn't make one trade with all those first-round picks. So they made history having 5, and they took a player, and then they almost did it like in a redundant fashion with all the I don't know. I would tell you don't get your hopes up. Same way I'm not getting my hopes up to win the World Series. As a Net fan, you got to know it is all pain. Even when there's a little bit of promise, it turns out to be pain.
Yeah, well, if you don't, let me continue a little bit about the Igor Denim. So I guess it's reality setting in on me. Let me look why we didn't trade back. Like, is this guy that they needed him so badly? And let me give you a few stats about Igor Denim.
I know him. They overdrafted him. Nobody had him going 8th overall. He came out of BYU. They talked about how he got locked up, how the Cougars from Houston abused him. That's the closest team that they could comp to an NBA team. They said he could develop, he might become, but you had the 8th overall pick and you took a guy that they had maybe going 15th. Take the best available. You have 5 picks. Every time you get back up to the podium, pick the best available. Instead, they did this weird. I don't know. They're I don't know. Hopefully it works out.
That's the point of my call. I had to look down the draft, and I'm like, let me look at the teams in back of them that I drafted. Toronto, they got $35 million quickly, and they got a point forward in Barnes. They weren't going to draft him. Number 10, Phoenix. They got Booker. They got Green. They needed size. They were not going to take Igor Denham. I think it was 11. You go to the Chicago Bulls. They got Giddey. You got Atlanta at 13 has Trae Young. 15 was Toronto. They got a pretty. OKC. They got a pretty good point guy. I think his name is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Number 16, the Memphis. They got a pretty good guy named Moran. Who the heck was going to take this guy? And I'm like, it's the absurdity. Just looking back in hindsight. And then I'm like, BYU. The last BYU freshman taken was Storm Bradley. And then I'm looking at Russian players. I don't want to throw them all in one thing, but we've never really had a Russian player in the NBA besides Korolenko, who had a solid,
they had
very good athlete.
And this kid, I think, played for Real Madrid. And if you remember, Janan Musa with the Nets, I guess they tapped into the resources where he came from.
Well, the highest Russian player ever picked was Igor Korolev, number 13, a complete bust of the Clippers. So at what point was this guy out?
I'll tell you this, and I actually haven't watched the latest episode of the Brooklyn Nets YouTube series called Scout, but they basically telegraphed this because episode 3 of Scout was all about their international scouting. They also told us that Jordi Fernandez and this team wants to play with pace and speed, and Igor Demin was the fastest player in the draft. I think they overdrafted him based on his draft combine workout.
The kid they got at 19 was the fastest player, and I like the kid from France. That was a solid pick to me. That he was the fastest player in the draft. The French kid.
I'm not passing up on proven players and American players, and that's another narrative people said too. They're like, Marks did well drafting Nick Claxton out of Georgia, Cam Thomas out of LSU, and Day'Ron Sharpe out of UNC. Go back down south and pick some more American players. Because it's worked for you. I don't know. I felt like they did a lot. And I don't know. All the stuff that I read on draft night, I was like, I couldn't make sense of it. So I was like, I can't care. I don't care.
We're the only team in the NBA that does not have one building block. Not one. Not a player that we could possibly, like, even Charlotte's got a couple, Miller and
get yourself excited over Michael Porter Jr. thinking it's his team now, and then maybe Terrence Mann and him can help us compete. Thanks for the call, Jack. I hate talking about the Brooklyn Nets. Used to do a whole podcast called Talking Nets. Ain't nothing to talk about. Sorry for wasting y'all time. Here comes John and Masbeth. I'm sure he won't waste a second of your time. John, what you think?
Yeah, there is something to talk about. You see how Sunday is David Wright Day, the fake captain of New York or whatever, right? Yeah. Bobblehead, right?
Yeah, they're retiring his number, put his number up, and it's a big day for Mets fans. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Keith. But listen, the best part is this. They have a bobblehead of him. The thing has an amputated arm and, it has an amputated arm and 2 hands. Go look it up. I just retweeted it. The 7-line
Zoo hit the music on you early because he's a whole Mets fan. He's like, nah, you're not about to disrespect my guy.
Poor thing has an amputated arm and 2 hands. What a pathetic franchise.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, John. Thanks, everybody else, for listening. And I had fun. Hopefully you have fun. We'll do this again tomorrow. We'll do the 5-hour marathon starting at 7. Stay tuned for Big Mac. And shout out to Big Mac, because every time Big Mac went to break last night, he said, filling in for Keith McPherson. And not everybody does that. Some people just come on and they're like, it's me. Here comes Mac. I'm out. Sports Radio 101.9 FM. All right, that's all I got, folks. That's it, yo. Appreciate y'all, man. Before y'all get out of here, bro, you already know to bang that like. If you're on the YouTube, if you're on Twitter, hit like on the post.
Just help a brother out, man. Just a young brother hustling, talking sports in the greatest city in the world on the most listened to sports talk station ever. And doing my thing and making sure people know it don't matter what time I'm on. I'm a rock regardless. They could put me on at 9 p.m. Tomorrow I'll be on at 7 p.m. When the Yankees start, I'll be on at 11 p.m. No matter what, though, you're going to get a good show out of me because I'm working on it. You're going to get a good show out of me because I'm built for it. You're going to get a good show out of me. I'm blessed, God-given voice, got some knowledge, got some ability. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all, man. Everybody have a good night, and we'll catch up 7 p.m. tomorrow.